welcome to this episode of Outcast and Outclassed.
Title name drop.
Roll credits. Show. All right, let's start things off with some quick announcements. I have none. I love you all. And we'll
Hell yeah!
straight on to, I'm sure there's something, but I'm good. I'm chill. And we're going to go straight on to our sponsors. All right, first off, let's thank the wonderful folks over at The Crafty Gamer. Did I change things up, Waffles? I heard you typing that I did the different one. Did I catch you off guard?
Responding to our fans.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw you
dude.
the command.
See, I slowed you down so I could ping it on time.
Nice.
Hey.
I see that. Stalling for time.
I need a sound clip for anything I do. I need to anything. I'm responding to my fan.
Oh my god, the best.
Y'all,
Beautiful.
this is the Crafty Gamer we're talking about here. They are super wonderful folks. They provide amazing products from beautifully scented candles. I believe they are aromas of adventure. And cool things I saw recently on Instagram. They are working with their like in-house custom like dice maker to make cool class dice. They have a lot of cool stuff coming, so please check it out. You can take a look at their website. It's thecraftygamer.com, and you can use, if you would like, if you see some cool things there, you can use the code WafflesMapleSyrup and get 10% off your order. But y'all, the Crafty Gamer, thank you so much for supporting us and for believing in us and supporting and sponsoring the show. Moving to our lucky enough to have two sponsors tonight. So
A one, a two.
Eldritch Osiris Games, y'all. Eldritch Osiris Games. There's some pretty cool folk, and they are focused mostly on Pathfinder2e. I don't know if they do other stuff as well, but I believe they're focused on Pathfinder2e. They are the first ttrpg's workers co-op, which is super, super cool. They build on the foundation of giving voices to creative authors who don't normally have a roadmap to publishing. They have so many, I'm not kidding, they have so many published releases on like Pathfinder Infinite and beyond. Go check out their website. There's so much supplementary material that you could use in your games, at home, wherever you want. It's a lot of fun, and you know, I appreciate the people there. Also, thank you for believing in us, sponsoring us. Y'all are awesome. And finally, we'd like to remind you all that we are a part of the Roll20 Ambassador Program, and which we, when we switch over to our VTT, which you might see because we're in a dungeon, well, that's Roll20. So thanks, Roll20, for making the prep for this a lot easier than it would have been if y'all didn't give me everything all laid out for me. No, it's the... that's okay. Waffles' mic doesn't like him right now, so we can talk whatever we want about him, and he can't reply to us.
Oh man, I really love Waffles. Waffles is super talented and really funny, and like I really, really love him, and I think his hair is great. And
Makes very
He got a
good
haircut
maps.
today. It's really cool.
oh bye.
Over here.
Hey, listen, we might not be able to see you, but you can still hear us.
Can't avoid this.
See, I forgot that.
No! We just gotta be really loud.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't see me.
I will. My voice can get to where you are. I promise.
Waffles, Stefan, you put those headphones back on.
We got the real name.
We got the real name drop.
Oh, shenanigans tonight. We're on a roll.
Is this fixed?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
you sound great.
I think my other cord
sexy.
finally died.
Oh, it's all good. It's all
dang.
good.
Oh, no.
Now, I could have, mind you, I could have had you troubleshoot all of that off stream, off camera, because we're ready to hit our intro video, but I definitely did it on purpose, so everybody had to watch that.
Yeah, that's more fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
More fun to watch me struggle.
Content.
Yay, stress!
Oh man, we love each other.
That's why they
so
watch
much.
our
I
show.
love you guys so
Because we struggle.
That's true.
Y'all, we can
It's actually the
delay
whole
this.
show. Actually, is
No
troubleshooting.
longer.
Yep.
We are going to hit that beautiful intro video
Thank God.
whether you like it or not.
Get me
And
the hell out of here, man.
we will see you in class. What if I just stayed still the whole time? Welcome back, y'all.
Let's all pretend like we're
like, how-
frozen.
Alright, you can freeze us at home by hitting the pause button.
A new feature to Twitch.
Feature. You can mimic internet
The
issues.
beta, we're testing it out.
We're running it through
Mimic
for Twitch.
internet issues. Oh god. Welcome back. Let's just do this the whole time. What show do we need to run here? It's fine.
Somebody pay us. Twitch, Paizo, somebody.
So if we leave the map up like this, then we can talk about anything and say we're playing Pathfinder.
Yeah.
It's true.
No one will be the wiser. No one will
Oh, man.
know. But
Nobody will know.
I will. So, let's talk a little bit. Oh yes, Cooper. Hello. Last we left off, our group of happy-go-lucky, not problematic, not emotionally damaged students were basically spelunking into twisting, turning caverns underneath the Archhorn Library. In their first approach, taking things slow, steady, they encountered some agitated, I should say, bees, which they handled swiftly, escorting them off campus and continuing along their way. But the odd circled area on the map that was left by the other students that were just too, scared, our students, though, they took a closer look and saw that indeed the odd spot that the other students noticed was a secret door, almost like stone slate wall that turns like a secret door at a library, or the bookshelf that those ones, the ones, they stumbled upon sleeping gremlins that they swiftly, killed, destroyed, really, really, really negative hit pointed, whatever that means to you, and then continued on. They realized that this is not just the sleeping quarters of some gremlins that have been making their home down in these caves, but it continues on and opens up into some sort of planning table, continuing to handle the gremlins that were there, allowing some to escape or leave, or however, down a hallway that seems to potentially be another secret door. They handle the threats in front of them and take a look around, finding a bag of holding, finding healing potions, finding all sorts of things, alongside one particularly gross gremlin that goes by the name of Benji. Benji seems to be rather harassed by the other gremlins, and you know what? Benji has had enough. And Benji talks to you all and asks maybe they can help you if you agree to bring them to safety. In doing so, and talking with Benji and dodging lice left and right, you also take a look at the map on the table. It seems like from the leftovers of the gremlins that have since been dispersed or killed, you have identified some plans on the school. A multitude of different handwritings and arguments almost. You can envision the gremlins that were here standing around arguing. No, we should trick them. No, we should blow this up. No, we should just do this. And just constant conflict. And it seems that there's not one solid plan. The map itself has scrawling all over it in different handwritings and different markers, but through it all, which is incredibly difficult to decipher, you were able to see a couple of areas circled. The storage room, the introduction ceremony site, the tree stump library, Tireless Hall, and more specifically, the Spire dormitory. Alongside the Spire dormitory is a particular note in Undercommon that was read out loud that said, "They live here. Send Urbel to kill them." That's about where we left off with discussions. Benji giving you, different information about a little bit about Urbel, a little bit about, the situation down here. You were, I believe, leaving off to escort her back up to campus, finding and potentially securing something for her. But you are all still down here in this room. Tensions were a little bit high as something particularly didn't sit too well with Tal about how some of this went down. That is where we'll pick up.
Before we continue, especially since we don't know what's all around here and we don't know who's watching, and Hideaki reaches into his robes and takes out a small statuette of what looks to be a dog and tosses it in the air. And it is like a silvery flash, and this large mastiff appears on the ground.
Oh.
As I'm using the wondrous figurine of wondrous power, known as the Onyx Dog.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you need the stats, I have it.
I was looking through the Roll20 treasury things that I'm sure I've handed out at one point.
Yeah. I just toss it into Discord.
Thank you. Yes. So. Eventually. Okay. Statuette changes into, yes, a riding dog. What is your intent as this mastiff forms in front of you?
And I look at it. Hey there. Can you see if anyone's watching us right now?
Just starts looking around.
Yeah.
Are you kind of basically
speak common,
commanding?
by the way.
It can also see invisibility.
Yeah.
Also, it has exceptional olfactory and visual abilities.
Since we're vomit.
Oh, totally
If
open.
you Dark vision.
You gave this to us.
It's endowed with an intelligence of
thing?
8.
Why would I
waiting
give
for the right
this
time.
to you?
I don't know. Listen, when I was doing the old other campaign for a while ago, I gave my characters, I gave my players an invisibility cloak at level 3. That was a mistake, y'all.
Happens. I've been there. We've all done it.
Oh my goodness. All right. So you can use 2 actions to command it, which you do, and you activate it. Hold on. We glossed over something really important. When you activate the statue by placing it on solid ground,
Okay.
and you speak its name, what's your name? This pupper. I gotta know the name of the pupper. On the spot.
3, 2.
Presence.
Presence, like with a T or a
Presence.
C.
CE.
We're the future.
Presence.
This is the present.
We're the future, and this is present.
I almost did that. I almost did it. I had a good laugh about that earlier today. So I literally almost did name it present actually because I'm an asshole.
No.
But I assumed the reaction that I've not seen, and thus I said to myself, I'm going to name it presents because I think it is more
And we
about
did it
current.
anyways.
And you did it anyway.
You get the best of both.
It can understand your language and it obeys you to the best of its ability when you use an action to command it. So as you basically are doing so now, let's see. So first of all, just so we are all aware, you're not gonna be able to activate it again until 1 week, which is fine.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's a guard
It pays
dog.
only
+4.
me.
So +4 circumstances for survival checks to track. It has dark vision, and when it senses a hidden creature with its scent, the creature is instead observed and concealed. Okay, so it cannot see invisibility. This one, the specific one that we gave you.
Son of a
But it
beach.
does have an ability to use its smell to see if it can scent for hidden creatures. So
Okay.
it will do so to the best of its ability.
I will trust
Would you like to roll for presence
I would love to roll for presents.
to see if he senses a presence?
Not great. 13.
That's the dice roll?
No. Well, no, 9 + 4, 13.
Okay, cool. So you see him kind of like get up and start like patting around and start sniffing around, and it goes through and it kind of sniffs each of you to just kind of confirm, your sense, and then sniffs like Benji, but stays like a good distance away from Benji, and then starts kind of doing a little loop around and like sniffing the air. It comes back to you and sort of like shakes its head. It basically trying to inform you that aside from the individuals here in this room, there is nothing that it can smell that is watching you.
Good boy.
Starts wagging its tail.
Hang tight. Okay. Feel a little better. And a little better inside
And he's
of
basically-
nucleus of like not great. So
He's following you around at this point, kind of like just healing basically by your side. Over
he's
Noza,
Cooper.
which
Great.
is still summoned, looks just mildly offended at this dog.
Really?
Chill.
You're a dragon. Act like it.
Like as soon as he notices you're watching, he's like, "No, of course."
Bow tie back up.
Monocle top hat.
Yeah, right. Yes, I am a professional. I take an old fashioned, old chum.
Old man pop.
Yeah.
I think Benji, at the sight of the dog sort of just forming from this little statuette, though, squeaks and kind of dives under the table for a moment, like poking her head back out.
Oh, I'm sorry, Benji. I forgot to ask if you didn't like dogs.
Oh, it's gotta eat me. It's gotta.
No.
Okay.
It's under my care, control. It's not gonna eat you. I promise.
Okay. And then she kind of like goes and crawls out the opposite side of the table and stands like whoever's close to whoever's furthest away from the dog.
If we're all standing where we are, or in my case, seated, they'd probably be.
Yes. Yes. Great. She's next to you. She's not touching you. It's fine.
Yet.
Cal and I also can't talk to Benji, so
Oh,
It's true.
under Chaman.
I need to learn more
Ark
languages.
is still on translator, dude.
All right. So I believe last you guys left off, you were talking about escorting her back up potentially keeping her safe until you're able to do more and determine whether you want to keep her around campus as help of any kind or send her off on her way.
It
I think
sounded like she wants to stay here.
Above table. I don't know. Like I think
think she
she's
said that.
scared
Stay.
of the lots of
All of the things.
people. I think she's
Yeah.
She
just
just
scared.
doesn't like.
Yeah,
She doesn't want to be in crowds, and like you can
Right.
imagine, like
Yeah.
going through the city is not going to be great for her. But you can absolutely imagine, based on kind of the situation, that you could find a space for her to be
Right.
comfortable, whether that's like stay in the Spire dormitory and help clean her, things like that. Like
Right.
you'd have to want to probably deal with some of her lice and that kind of issues.
situation. Yeah.
But with like above table, you could find she could help you be a study partner. She could be a part of your life here at the Magaambya, or you can basically rehome her if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying we all have 2 rooms. So, there's not a lack of space for Benji to live.
Certainly.
Correct.
But
just
she
get
did
rid
sound
of
like she wanted to stay at the school.
Listen, you have a
She just
pocket
didn't
full
wanna
of
be around
change.
crowds.
You could literally, there's not many people at the Tree Stump Library. You could
No.
have her be the
No.
caretaker.
I object.
Because Tal's like,
That
I
is-
put all
that
my
is
life's
my-
work
that
is
is
in that
my-
library.
You can
That's
ask
the
her
only
to take care
place-
of the lice.
I will give Benji my room at the dormitory.
There you go.
Just to kind of
I will
clarify-
stay.
To clarify something, the last time you said that it's natural for them to have this lice.
Yeah, this is not.
like a
Yeah,
good
this isn't
thing,
like
or
a
is this a not a good
disease.
not or is this a-
I forget. I
Okay.
think y'all rolled
Limit
some nature checks on
feel like that's
to
true.
identify
did.
her.
Yeah.
So her type of gremlin, the Grimples, are known to be have lice attracted to them. Though from like your research, whether that's like having read about it in a book or any kind of illustration, like her mange effectively her mange is severe. She's balding a lot, and her sheer amount of lice, even though it's not unusual to find them with lice, is like a lot.
Gotcha.
Like really, really not well taken care of. You could imagine, despite the fact that the species is used to being attracted to it, that with some charms and magic, you can probably, maybe give her like a bracelet that would help ward off. Like there's stuff. It's a magic school. There's stuff to ward it off. She's the mange event. Oh, I love it.
I'm just.
Why did I look? Why did I look? Why the fuck did I look?
I
It was just one of those. I just want to make
can't.
sure
I was
this wasn't,
safe.
like
I was
something
good.
that she needed to be healthy, kind of thing.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
With your nature and having kind of taken your more nature-oriented classes, so I'm sure that you can kind of have identified that. It's gremlins have a lot of variation, and in particular, they're all unique. But no, this seems to be a nice little side effect of just the species, not necessary. So, how are we feeling?
So Hideaki's going to point at the map and point at the point at the dormitory where like send so and so says, and then point at the storage room. So we know that, at least based off of this information, we know that and I think we probably assumed this, to be fair, that our encounter with the gremlins initially is directly connected to this, based off of this. No doubt. My concern is, right now, is if they're sending something to kill us, when did that happen? If it happened already. Is it happening right now?
I don't believe they're sending anything to kill us. Most of these attacks, especially the storage room, were nothing more than nuisances. Distractions, probably.
That's exactly what I was about to say. 100%.
Yes, but the map does say send Urabel to kill him. I mean,
That's
it might
where we
not be
live.
us in particular. Could this possibly have something to... Wait, I should ask before I do that. I don't remember. Did Hideaki tell us about his visions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
All
of
of
the
Okay, just wanted to double check. I
Ignacy.
couldn't quite remember if that was just something we were, there for.
Because
Actually,
it's
got told.
Ignacy.
Here we go. We're back, baby.
About Ignacy? This be your vision that we need to worry about?
Does it say, is it singular or is it like a they live here?
They
I
live
forgot.
here.
Yeah.
They live here.
Send
Send
Urabel
to kill them.
It could be, I suppose, an individual or everyone.
I mean, we aren't the only ones who live in a dormitory. It could be. I mean, the world doesn't revolve around us. There's
No.
people who. Someone else could be in danger.
Maybe it's the
I'm
teachers.
not talking specifically us. I'm saying just students in general.
Sure.
Oh.
I don't think any of this changes our plan, though.
No?
No.
We have to
No.
clear out the cavern, correct?
And if we're bringing up Benji to, her out of here, perhaps we should let the teachers know as well what we found so that they can at least start making sure everyone in the dorm is safe.
So, by that, it sounds like we're leaving and going
Just for now.
Just a quick
talk
up
to
and
the
down.
teacher.
We're
Don't
just
think it should
going
take us
just
too
to the
long.
stairs.
So we're
Not
not
that
telling the
far in.
teachers about this particular threat, and he points to the dormitory.
I think it'd be a good idea to let them know just so it can get started. I mean, especially if the gremlins that were down here are the ones that are planning on doing something about it, and they've now we've flushed them out. Maybe they'd
Oh.
start moving if they haven't already. It's better to be safe. Sorry.
All right. Any objections?
No, I think we give them the map and Benji and continue on our way.
All right. Look at us. Agreeing.
Hal, you've still kind of like sat down by this table. Have you gotten up since?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Are you outwardly, and keeping in mind you have expressive ears, as part of the trait and everything for your cat heritage, but aside from that obvious sign of potential exhaustion or anything like that, is it obvious that you are uncomfortable, displeased, and feel free to call for a perception check from anybody else if you would like.
I was gonna ask for one if I
Yes, please. I like dice rolling.
We love that.
Let's
Is
roll
that what we do here?
That's what I like to make people do.
Oh my god,
Who
that's so
cares?
perfect. Natural one. I'm not even gonna hear a point
Good.
that. I think that's. Oh, I love you, Hideaki. You son of a
Listen,
bitch.
I have an obvious, and then I have a less obvious.
I love that.
It's true. It's true.
Arc rolled a middle 17.
Okay.
Middling.
Middle high.
Middle high 17.
Oh, you are muted, Star.
Heidi.
That is why no one's answering me. I turned
Hey.
it for some reason.
Is that how
So
that
when
works?
that happened, I must have when I opened a
Tag. No.
perception?
We lost you.
Yes, we are indeed rolling for perception.
But where is it? though?
Where-
Where is it?
but where
Where
is
is
it?
it?
Hey, y'all, we
So
sell that.
nowhere.com.
If you
We're
want a
fucking
shirt, go to
perception.
that.
23.
Hideaki is not
Hey,
included.
how apropos.
Hmm.
So the obvious thing that I think everybody notices, like when Tal walked into that first room, and they had like this horrified kind of look, and their ears were like basically like down, basically touching their neck. That hasn't. The ears are still quite down. They haven't really come up at all. And I think with Ark and Arafe, Ark would definitely notice that Tal is being very intentional about like looking at the table most of the time. And Arafe would know that they are intentionally not looking down the hallway that you came from.
And because of the natural one for a critical failure, I like, Pathfinder rules, it's technically a level below failure. So we'll say with this, it's possible maybe that there's a misunderstanding to throw into the mix, whether that's potentially... I'm going to, just for absolute shits and giggles and because I like throwing tinder into the fire, Hideaki, you think Tal, does not like Benji. Benji disturbs them.
Can I tweak that a little bit?
Oh, please, yes, and me. Let's go.
Because I was thinking about this. I think that Hideaki is distracted. I think it's more as he's because typically he would press immediately, but he's actually as he's looking at Tal, he's thinking about the conversation that he had with Tal's brother, and specifically around protection, and sometimes that means mentally and emotionally as well. And he's trying to be better at not every hill being a hill to die on. So maybe this just wasn't it.
What an unfortunate time to pick that particular stance.
I know.
How
Isn't it
unfortunate.
fucking awesome though?
It's really great.
I will say, yes to all of that. But there's still that thought of oh yeah, anytime Benji's close to them, they're like, oh, they look very uncomfortable. Just to throw that in there with everything else. But yes to that.
Duval, you didn't have enough Tinder. Here's more. Listen, Linda. Okay, no, totally cool.
All right, so you all, let's let Arafe and Ark.
I will just say, noticing that and just kind of knowing that Tal has not seemed as comfortable talking about things in a group right now, lately, at least from what Arafe's been noticing. She is just going to kind of notice the intentional not looking towards the hallway and intentionally step between Tal and the doorway so that she can't see.
You would also notice Arafe, because I don't think Ark would notice. That they do, occasionally there is a slight glance over towards where Ark is standing.
Over to the corner of the room?
No, towards Ark.
Towards Ark, okay.
Yeah, Ark is still probably in the midst of a medicine check currently.
Right.
I'm healing dead wounds.
Treating them wounds, kiddo.
Yeah. So Arafe is going to step between Tal's eye line and the hallway.
And meanwhile, Ark, it's been quite a bit. You guys have had discussions and such, so you're wrapping up your medicine check at this point. If you had not rolled last session, then go ahead and roll now.
I did. I failed. Just a normal.
All right.
fail.
Okay.
Regular failure. So you do not regain any?
Nope. I stayed 28.
In this time frame of sort of Arafe, your attention focused on Tal and this type of thing, we'll say that takes it up instead, so you are not helping Ark, nor do you really kind of realize that the bandages that he's put on are they're bleeding through, they're not doing much. All right. With that, you gather up the map. Do you conclude any other conversation before beginning to make your way out? And let me know if you are... where are you going? Are you checking out the additional tunnel where the gremlins left from?
If I recall last time, Benji did tell us that hallway goes out to the mushroom.
Yep.
We were going to.
I think that's what we committed to going that way, I think.
We should go. I think we should go that way just to see what's up.
Ark disagrees.
I agree.
I think we should backtrack steps if we are going to make a safe trip up. We can come back and check this door after.
I'm going to heavily say we should go away.
Okay. I will go first then.
Okay. I will be right behind.
Tal stands up
Mm-hmm.
when Ark says that they're going to go first. And they say, no, I'm going to go first. And will make their way towards that tunnel.
Would you mind if Presence joins you, Tal?
They shrug and they continue towards the tunnel.
Ark,
And he'll. Yeah, go ahead.
Ark, heavily confused by the current actions, is going to take a step back and say, I will meet y'all by going the other way then. And he's gonna walk back through the top door, the way we came, to the mushroom.
Is anybody?
He
you
thinks
like
the
one of us to
situation
come?
is currently unsafe, with Tao going first, and so he wants to be in a safe situation.
Airfae's not reading it that way, and she'll just say, "You want one of us to come with you, Ark, so you're not alone?"
No, I am okay.
Okay.
Ark, you have no dark vision without these lights.
Yeah, Ark casts light on his stick.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna have your token. Is that concentration in any way? Oops, I totally hid your token just now. Goodbye, Ark.
Fuck
Ark
y'all.
disappears.
Token.
You're so right that
I
you
banish
just
you.
He
vanished.
just sits up here. You're in the ethereal plane now.
He's now Ark the White.
I would watch that movie so bad.
So what is that? That emits bright light for some.
Yeah,
60 and 60.
forever.
That's bright light.
That's all. That's
Tw-
the
It's
sun.
not- it's 20 and 20.
Well, wait,
20.
actually-
Sorry, I read the heightened effect.
Yeah, I was trying to think if mine's heightened. I don't know when light heightens because I don't have it on here. I'm down.
It
with- I'm
says
down with
fourth.
20 and 20. Fourth, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20 and 20 from my shtick.
All right, so I'll just simply make you a token. Emit some light, because that's cool.
Aziz light.
Why isn't it? Do the thing.
Do the thing,
As
do the
everyone
thing.
starts to leave, like Hideaki just like throws his hands up. It's like, Benji, would you like me to go ahead of you? You want to just follow right behind?
Oh, whatever you need from me, I'll be there.
It's not about what I need from you. It's about what makes you feel okay.
Oh, I'll go behind you then, cause I can see, I can be safe here, cause I know it's safe here.
All right.
I'll tell you if anything comes up from behind, and I'll be helpful that way.
You're doing
Is that
good.
okay?
It's very okay. You don't have to ask me, by the way.
Okay. You do not know that they like particularly ingested that, but they say okay. So
Yeah,
Ark
like
continues.
your classic okay, that
upwards.
means nothing.
Yes. They said okay a little too fast.
You clicked agree on the software install.
yeah. Did you read that? So Ark is going alone. Arafa, you're letting Ark go that way, and you're going before Hideaki.
Yes. Airfae is trying to consciously not think she's thinking of other people in a better way than they are. So she is trying her hardest to take a step back every time, because she does not want Ark to go by himself. Doesn't think that they will be safe by themselves. But
Yeah,
Ark,
it's fair.
Ark wants it, so she's trying to back off in those instances.
All right, so Ark, when you go back up, is your intent to return to the left and go back literally the way up into the room, or are you looking to meet up at the mushroom? What's your intent?
I think Ark, as he is, he would glance. Now that he has light on, he would glance down the other hallway, but he would turn left and to the mushroom.
Okay. So let me do this real quick. Okay, so you will be able to head up here, and I'll place you here for a moment, kind of bring you all the way up as you all begin to head out of this. Now, let me open this little secret door for you, which you quickly see.
There it
as
is.
you secret tunnel.
I have no
as-
light, by the way, but just wanted-
I still can't go through there, but it's okay.
yeah, I'll bring you out in a hot second. I don't know what happened to it.
gotta
Hold
drag
on.
my token up. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm probably not doing anything major. So.
No, it's okay.
You're probably
am
not dying.
trying-
For sure.
Wouldn't be able to see if you died anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I have light.
Okay.
But there be
It may be
light.
that you had your token up and I was editing it at the same time. Potentially.
Nice.
Teamwork.
Or I just took third time's the charm. So you all begin making your way. I will I will just bring so is over Noza going in front or behind you, Hideaki?
Oh, good question. In front of me.
Okay. So like this with camera chicken and toe. You head
A4
out.
to B4, check.
So
Camera
you
chicken.
open this secret door and you see as you get up to its Hal, because you knew because you knew the door as it was in the above area that you saw kind of when it was open, even without a perception check, you knew the gremlins came out of here, so you were looking for it. And it's just another one very similar to the previous one, a sort of sheet of rock that twists open. And so you open it and take a first step out. You see more twisting cavern, but emanating lightly from. And are you still sustaining your lights?
Yes.
Do you send them out in front of you? It's not a suspicious
No.
question. It's a totally normal question.
No,
it sounded like
because
it.
no, here's
The
why.
music
Because
roar at that point when your fall at that point.
Here's- I don't have dark vision, but Nim has dark vision, and Nim can talk to
Yeah.
me, and Nim is on my
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yes.
Okay,
facts.
So
so
I
you're
will
sustaining
wait,
them, but keeping them kind of in where they were, and
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you step out and you let Nim kind of take a look around.
Mhm.
As you take a look around, or well, as Nim takes a look around, they kind of take a look around. I don't see anything. I mean, there's like a lot of cavern, rock wall. Is that what you're looking for?
Can I listen for a second?
Yeah.
See if I can hear anything with my
Make a perception check.
My ears.
Yeah, with your yes.
Where's my ears? Oh, woo.
Where am I? Who am
I
I?
haven't
What is
oohed in
this?
so
There it
long.
is.
Does
Break it
Nim
up.
have dark vision? I don't see it on here.
Yes, Nim has one of the familiar the level up thingies that I picked.
Oh,
was
the
for them
level
to have.
up's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. They can help me perform. They can help me focus better, and they have dark vision. Wow, it was a really bad roll for me. I'm gonna use a hero point.
All right. Use it. Get that hero point.
Much better. Dirty 20.
Ooh.
Okay. So you step out. Nim's looking around. I gave Nim dark vision, so you can
Oh.
see through the character as well.
If I do get a +2 circumstance bonus to locate undetected creatures that I could hear within 30 feet.
Oh, perfect. So
matters.
you step out and you're like you almost like you shush everyone behind you, and you kind of like the door's still open so that you don't like lose behind. Airface still like right there. It's like half open, and you like lean out and start like listening around. You even shush Nim as they're like, "What do you want?" Like, there's a lot of dark rock walls here.
Yeah, I just do like I put a finger on the top of their head.
All right, jeez. And then they quiet up, and you listen. Your ears like satellites, like twisting, and you hear whispering. You hear, and you can't. It's echoing off these walls, and it's just a little indecipherable. You're not quite sure what you're hearing. What was your roll again?
Dirty 20, 22
Dirty
if
20.
it's for undetected creatures or things like that.
You can't make out words, but the thing that strikes you is that the tonation, the whispers, they're anxious. There's like it's like heated conversation, but it's like an argument, but it's like it's anxious and it's worried, and it's just like this just you hear it in the tones as it kind of bounces off the rock walls and emanates, just kind of gets into your ears somewhere to your left. But you do, through Nim, and I don't know if you would see it quite, but you can imagine just kind of with your inner map that the mushroom would be up to the north. And this is coming from the opposite direction.
Further in. We have to go deeper.
Deeper. Only on Fridays. References
I
to the
forgot I
pre-show
wasn't
talk. None of
on-
y'all will get that.
Forgot I wasn't on mute right there. Yep.
Okay. I'll just turn back to everyone and just like put up a shush sign and then start making my way up northwards back
north.
to where
Perfect.
we were before.
So, I'm gonna kind of put things like this in a hot second so you guys can start like filtering out. I will bring camera chicken will be under Overnosa.
As we're going through, I am keeping a close eye out as we're walking around, knowing that I am the one that has dark vision.
Oh, no, says
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I would bring the lights out with us.
Light it up. Sorry.
Perfect. Kind of, I don't know. There's an extra one could go there. I don't care.
Well, to be fair, I would probably
A2 to
like
B6.
snuff out a couple of them to make it light, but not as like light. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
As you pull out the lights from behind the secret door, and nope.
Val, I heard that, and I need.
Is there a Laura Bailey here? Like, is that what's happening? I as I said it though, that's my fault too.
Anyway, we out here.
Yeah, we out here. But the light begins to fill the space, and Tal, as the lights kind of come out and you head up north, the soon as sort of the lights start emerging, the whispers and go quiet.
Okay, I want to try something because this is something that I remember pontificating about a while ago when there was a conversation. Go ahead.
Asterisk is that this is still as you're moving up north, so I know where you all are placed on the camera or on the map right now. It's not quite where y'all are yet in this current moment in time.
Okay. Tal, is not wanting to verbally try to communicate with anyone in the party because whispers coming from down the hall. So they are going to try, because they've been meaning to for a while, and now seems like an inappropriate time to try. They're going to try to mentally reach out to Overnosa to try to communicate with him.
Interesting. Is this a particular ability that you are looking to utilize, or is this sort of
No.
you're just pulling on some sort of
Strings.
bond? Strings. Pulling on some strings.
You know.
Yes.
I've been waiting for you to do this too.
I
I kind of want to do it to Miz.
Unconsciously, you reach into your pocket and you feel your hand around a little spool of golden yarn or string.
Thread. We got it. We got there.
One of the three. And hello everybody. Thank you. Hello. You
Tense Dungeon.
fiddle with it as you kind of just almost unconsciously, and you're just sort of not knowing, you find the end of the thread. And you pull and twist it around your finger. Do you recall the mechanics of this golden thread?
Yes, I brought it down. Where is it? Hello. It was. Hello. There you are. Okay. It has one focus point. It has 12 inches of thread, approximately. Specifically, I have written down here that it has the stumbling curse hex that I can use with
Correct.
it.
So it's an action basically to pull the thread,
Right.
and usually it has to do with the stumbling curse hex.
Right.
But one additional thing is when you use that spell, you roll a d4 to see how much thread is used.
Yep.
I will allow you to do this if you pull d4 thread.
Oh, hell yeah. Consequences,
Roll me a
who knows
D4.
them?
Roll me a d4.
Let's go.
My limbs just got so like, that's a 4, Fane.
I saw it on your face. Let's go.
It's the first time you've pulled on this thread, and it just sort of slips out from your grasp and rolls more thread than you had intended. And just when you even notice that you're doing it, mark off from the 12 inches, 4 inches of thread gone. So subtract 4 inches from it.
Okay.
And you put that feeling out the way you do when you connect with your familiar. And then you look down and see faintly glowing thread that's twisted in your finger, that's broken off. You didn't break it off, but now there's just 4 inches of thread sort of wrapped around your finger. And you see it continue and sort of like almost like glinting in the light, tether over to Overnoza. And when it wraps around one of their talons, you feel that connection. What do you tell them?
Overnoza, I think that there's people south of us. To the left.
You see, and Hideaki, you sense this as well easily. Not the voice, but you notice this jerk reaction. Overnoza is taken by surprise as he sort of stands up and turns and just locks eyes with Tal. And without losing eye contact from you, Tal, to Hideaki, Overnoza in his head just goes, people down south. Voices. He does not tell you. Tal told me this. He just tells you the facts. As you begin to emerge further from this tunnel, you are unaware. I know you're taking a look around Arafe, and you do have dark vision. So as you're emerging, whether your attention is on Overnoza or Tal in front of you, you are looking around. So go ahead and make me a perception check. But Hideaki, because you are walking in front of Hideaki, you step out, and with Overnoza telling you this, you look down to your left. In doing so, first thing you notice, as the lights follow, because you don't have dark vision, but the lights that Tal brings forward follow you. And there down at the end of the hall, first thing that catches your eye is a unconscious Mitflit. Perhaps one that had left earlier. Hard to tell. But you see a body of a Mitflit on the ground. Arafe, what did you roll?
I got a 19, 20 if it has anything to do with illusion.
Okay. So with the 19, you glance down just as you pass and also see this. At this point, both of you also see familiar. It's like people kind of see figures huddled into like the corner of a wall. First you see, slowly recognizing Okoro. You see his usual green clothes and head wrap. Beyond that, you see the colorful coats of strands of glowing dawn. But then it's like you're seeing things twice because you look past them and you don't see a third figure. You see a flash of purple coat, a fancy purple coat, laying down on the ground. But where your vision ended, you're able to see just a little bit further, and you see a leg and a shoe. And you're pretty sure is Ignacy. Okoro seems to be covering most of it, but you see just that little bit of purple coat and potentially his body laying on the ground.
Are all three of them prone?
Nope, just the purple coat. You recognize in that moment a similar vision. Because if you look from your own vision, it's nearly impossible to see from your angle. You see just a little bit of purple coat and a leg. Arafe, you see this as well with your 19.
We need art.
Do you say that out loud?
I whisper it as low as I possibly can.
I'm going to then just go straight north.
Okay. Around this time arc.
I'm also going to douse all but one of my lights that I take with me.
For my ease, they're all going back into the
I am
room,
going to
'cause I don't want to delete them every time.
That's fine.
I'm going to stay here and keep an eye straight on. I'm not here.
Oh, cool. I remembered how to breathe just now.
Come on, Jamal.
Is it clear that they don't see us? From what I'm seeing.
In this frozen moment in time, Tal heard the whispers stop when the lights came out. And it seems to be that they saw movement and light approaching, something coming from over there. But again, in this frozen moment in time, maybe because you knew what you were seeing, because you've seen it before, you see them before they recognize you. You recognize them before they recognize you. But I'm going to hold off on your reaction as we check in on Ark.
Totally cool. Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. Oh,
breathe. All right. Ark.
Yes.
You have stepped out here. Are you poking your head around the corner with your glowing light to look beyond into the seems to be this narrow passageway, and then it seems to open up further to your right?
No, he would just look at what he can see from where he is, and he would not poke his head around the corner.
Okay. You see kind of looking ahead, kind of looks like it opens up a little bit down to your right, but you do also see an entrance to a narrower tunnel that leads up north more, and you imagine you also saw the same little terribly sketched map from the other students that Arafe holds, and it is you can imagine it would connect to that other tunnel into the room. You're not 100% sure, but inner mappings and your familiarity with caves, it makes sense if it would lead in that direction.
Yeah. He will take a second to listen right here, though.
Make me a perception check.
Not that I'm great at those. 9.
Yeah, I'm so glad Ark went out here alone.
And so he just closes his eyes, listens for a second. If he doesn't hear anything, he's gonna turn towards the mushroom.
There is constant buzzing and droning that is bouncing and emanating throughout this cavern. It is ever present even here. And it is that type of confusion of direction because of the echoes that you cannot tell if it is coming from your left or from your right now. It is coming from all over. So trying to listen past that, you focus, you hear natural sounds of rocks. You can't quite pick out something from another. It is sort of, you hear like a stumble of rock, but you also know that your friends are emerging somewhere to your left. And again, it was hard to pinpoint, so maybe that was just their movement. There are things moving around in here. You are not able to discern anything in particular, but you hear, in general, sounds, but nothing in particular.
Okay. On this corner of the wall, right here,
Yes.
that Ark's standing in front of, he is going to just take his finger and trace a little magical sigil in it.
Okay. So in the wall, you traced a sigil.
Yeah.
And are you marking it visible or invisible?
Invisible.
Okay. What are you... Is this your own unique magical sigil?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have an idea of what it looks like?
Yeah.
What is it?
So it's like this lightning bolt that is threaded through an infinity symbol.
Amazing. And it just kind of like magically lingers for a moment and fades into invisibility as you cast sigil. And then you turn around and head to your left.
Yep.
All right, so I will say you about get to the entrance of the glowing mushroom cave with small little bites out of it, as Tal, along with one glowing light, basically makes their way north, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And y'all make eye contact across this cavern. I'll even bring you down here, and across, over this. It's not. You have to kind of look around because this is a giant glowing mushroom. This thing has grown huge.
Yeah.
But as you all make eye contact, because of your expressive ears, Taliatia, I will let Ark pick up like one thing that you would like to express physically before you're able to communicate. And it could be directional if you want. It could be like something relevant to behind you.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing would be just concern.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is that concern that is emanating from them as they come up north as you glance around this mushroom. But at this current point in time, we're going to flash back to the reactions of both Arafe. Also has a moment here as Hideaki is sort of seeing a familiar scene.
Can I just do one thing real quick? Sorry.
What's up?
Can I just change my light spell?
Yeah.
He's gonna instead now cast it. Now that he's in light, he wants to cast it on one of the pages of his book and then close the book.
Cool. All right.
Smart.
Nice. All right. So, Arafe, Hideaki, in this moment, as we unfreeze time, as their eyes seem to be looking over in this direction, but like there's a body of a gremlin in front of them, unconscious on the ground. And they seem, with both of y'all's perceptions, I know you didn't roll one, Hideaki, but carrying over from this familiar visage, there is like panic on Okoro's very expressive face.
He'll put like a hand up to Arafe, wave a hand, and whisper underneath his breath, and he's going to cast Detect Magic.
Yeah, and does Arafe get any indication this is an illusion based on her perception? So it's
Not
not
on
an
the
illusion,
percep-
or I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, so what that does is you are familiar with illusions, that you're able to detect them better than otherwise, and that adds to your perception check to detect those illusions, and you did not detect one.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you cast detect magic.
Yep.
And that is the presence of magic, basically, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Presence. And you detect illusion magic only if that magic's effect has a lower level.
And is it what's the 30-foot emanation? Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so emanating from you, you expand 30 feet. You sense all the magic items on all of y'all. And as it reaches out to, let's see, it touches, yeah, no, plenty, all of it. You catch a couple of magic items off of like the person of the two of them, and but no illusion, no otherwise.
I'll step forward.
Okay. So at this point, Tal has kind of ran up north.
Mm-hmm.
Benji is following you directly behind.
Sure.
Because that is what she was told to do.
Indeed.
And as you come forward,
As
I'll give you a chance.
I'll say, as Benji goes to follow, Airfa's just gonna put her hand in the stop, and just go.
Oh, okay. So it's like she goes forward and then like very over exaggerated, like starts tiptoeing back. And you see her take out a tiny little pouch that's on her person and takes out like these tiny little like pebbles that look like stones that are like came off of the same cave walls that you're in, and just starts like fidgeting and playing with like a little pouch of stones as she sits quietly by the door. Are you basically coming down and watching? Are you going forward? Or are you staying where you are, Faye?
I will. I'm going to take a step just into the. Go around.
Sure.
Well, yeah, just in there, just to step in so I can still see them coming from behind, but can essentially see inside here of what's going on. As she steps in, I just want to take a look and see, like, Ignacy's on the ground. Does he seem hurt? Does he seem conscious? Does he dead?
A great question. So from this angle, as you step forward, you're able to kind of better see the body of Ignacy laying prone behind the two other students. Real quick, is Overnoza coming with you, or do you keep him behind?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll bring him up just kind of by your side. We'll carry over your perception. There is movement coming from Ignacy.
Okay.
And there is sort of like, it's not great. It's not a lot of movement. It's this sort of like grasping at their chest, but like it's like their hands like kind of resting on their chest, and you see it kind of like just grasping a little bit like this, and their feet kind of moving every once in a while. And as you run up, Okoro, you see, has a staff ready to like move at you, and in that very moment you kind of see the misfit again, the mitflit on the ground, and you're like, oh, this is probably what happened with the mitflit.
Yep.
Soon as they recognize you with the light, that you see they have a small torch that they had hid behind them, and they kind of have it out. Your recognizable, colorful coat. Immediately his shoulders relax and he's like, Hideaki, okay, you have to help us. He tried to be brave, like I don't know why, but you know, and there was the bees, and I don't know what to do, and you see now that Strands of Glowing Dawn is equally in a sort of panicked fervor. She seems, as soon as she's like, oh, it's y'all, okay, and you see her go back down to kind of crushed by Ignacy, and she's just like patting his hair and like smoothing it out and like his forehead, and she's like, it's fine, you'll be okay, it's fine, and you see her like kind of like motherly doting. Neither of them know what to do in this current moment. You do not know exactly what's wrong with Ignacy. They are not communicating well, and they seem to be truly panicked. Likely, you're going to have to calm them down to get any information out of them.
That's fair. In the moment of Airfae realizes she just had the worst thoughts of they did this to him.
Oh my god.
And yeah, so she thought they were doing something like based on Hideaki's visions. Instantly feeling guilty. And she's gonna pop right up and go to Ignacy and start trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna have some fun with. You all, including, because of timing, Ark and Hel, we are all going to roll initiative.
Stop! No!
For a form of variation of social combat. It's gonna be interesting and fun.
Okay.
No. No.
Click check it.
Counterspell. I'll use a hero point.
I have to roll! I don't want to!
I rolled the same. Okay.
Oh wait, I should you guys need the initiative tracker, don't you?
No!
No, we don't, because you changed your mind.
Oh god, I always forget what this is. 1, I think.
I cannot believe that I literally stopped breathing. That is amazing. I was like,
Don't stop breathing.
Yeah, breathing would be. Breathing's good. Breathing's good, you guys. Everyone keep breathing.
But breathe.
You're adorable.
I'm rolling initiative on the mid-flip for my ease of token tracking. It is going to represent both Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn.
Fair enough.
1, 2, 3. Is that everybody? Oh, Tal.
I rolled a 5. I got a 5. I gotta poke my. I didn't do that at all. Listen, I don't have that. I don't use that. I don't use this character sheet anymore.
Just go ahead and then edit it to what you need.
Oh well, the Roll20 said I rolled a 6, but technically I rolled a natural one, so 5.
Because you rolled a perception, you didn't actually roll initiative.
Well, it's the same thing.
It is, but it didn't put it on the token check.
So now you gotta do it again.
We've done this for so many times. We got this.
Right,
I believe
but listen, when we don't use the things in Roll20 anymore, and I use one that I can read better, I don't even touch it.
I rolled it again, and I got another fucking 6.
That's
which is
amazing.
Really impressive.
Roll20, you're kind of a dick, and I really appreciate it.
No, it's fine because the roll that counts was a natural 1, so.
Fair enough.
But for a total of
5.
much better.
The biggest difference here.
The big number, big whammy.
Okay, so, we're gonna start with Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn, which in this current moment, because they're at the top of the turn order, it's everything that I just described. They are panicked. They are like, it's okay. Please, can you help us? There's, and then Okoro's like, shh, there's things. And as you guys have started coming down here, the drone of the bees gets louder.
Fuck you.
Now. Oh, actually, you don't.
No, actually, you're all dead. Rock slide.
Rock slide.
You're all siding here now.
Jacob, you said fuck me, huh? I'm Gia Badass. The campaign's over. Bye.
Coming down here, with the light that's emanating, you see a passageway to the northwest out of this area. Interestingly enough, though, it seems like there's rocks that have kind of come in and actually collapsed the tunnel behind. Whatever that direction is. So this is sort of blocked off at this current point in time. because initiative is not pressure enough.
What?
Currently, you're on round 0. This is time sensitive. There is multitudes of things. You can get situational information from Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn, maybe, if you can calm them down enough, and that might help you in this situation. Alternatively, like Arafe was kind of already mentioning she was doing, you can try to go directly to Ignacy, see what's going on. Note that you are still in the caverns. There is still things around you to pay attention to. But we're in a time-sensitive situation where information is necessary. This is, for all intents and purposes, social combat, so you're going to be using social skills. You can use, all those things. Think of my diplomacy, intimidation, all the things. It's just a refresher because we've never done social combat before, but get creative. Tell me what you're trying to do. Don't forget to roleplay in it as we also add roles into this. Hideaki, we're starting with you.
Oh shit! Oh, okay, great. So I look at Okoro and I just go, I need you to focus.
Do you yell?
100%.
Oh, well, shit.
Blood. You clearly hear this echoing out to you, Tel. You hear, Okoro, we need you to focus. A little warped, a little resonated, but just to keep that in mind. Yes.
And could I hear the buzzing, right?
You do.
Where are the beasts coming from?
Okoro's like, they were over. So first of all, are you trying to sort of intimidate him?
Yes.
Okay, make me an intimidation check to sort of get him to focus.
Dirty 20. Nope. Yeah, dirty 20.
Perfect. DC was 18. So, he sort of like snaps to you, and he just kind of goes, "They keep your voice down. They're over there. They're there." And he just points to your right. As you look down, again, the source of light is not far enough here, so you don't quite see down here. I'm gonna throw in like one source of light over here for everybody's sake.
And what was he pointing at?
Down basically in this direction, but
Okay.
It gets pretty dark down there. You're not seeing anything.
So was that one action? Do I still have 2 more actions? Or is it just one thing per
No, yeah.
round?
So intimidation was one action. You got some information.
Yep.
Sure, yeah.
So I can do spells still? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that I've yelled at you, sorry, and I'm sure that didn't make the situation any better. So I'm gonna try to buy us some time. And he raises a hand over towards where he pointed, and he's gonna cast Scatter Screen. And we see these out of the ether, these large sets of rocks just appear in the air, and then face plant, rock plant. And they typically would deal like bludgeoning damage that equal 2d4 plus my ability modifier, which is 3. But what's important about this spell is the ground in the area becomes difficult terrain for the duration. It's 2 contiguous 5-foot cubes. So essentially, it's from where he pointed, because I think you put it like right here.
Yeah, you're
I'm
just
essentially
basically
trying to
blocking that
block
up.
the area. Yes.
Okay. So it's scattered rock. So the ground becomes difficult terrain for the duration.
Ground. It's a notable
Perfect.
place where bees fly.
It could do stuff.
Listen,
it could be climbing.
there's more than
Hey.
just fucking bees down
Exactly.
here. So, like, it's not a bad move. I just thought it was funny.
It is funny.
Perfect. I don't know if it's visible, but I put down a little rectangle.
A little bit.
5-foot squares.
Great.
It's fine. We'll say it's there.
And I'll just wrap my turn by just looking at him and saying, "We got this."
Okay, so this jumble of rocks sort of like fill in. You hear sort of like crumbling noise as they kind of scatter into the ground, blocking it. There's some larger, like not quite boulder-esque, but nice large chunks of ground. And it's funny because it's like you're surrounded in cavern. There is already rocks, but these are not made from.
They're my motherfucking rocks. Bitch.
Yeah, they're not. You make more rocks in an already rocky area. All right. At this point, Arafade, it is your turn. So you are run down.
Okay, I did run. That's what I was gonna ask. Was I down there already or not?
Not quite.
Okay. Okay, so I am down there?
I just brought you down there because I'm
Okay.
assuming that's what you're gonna do.
So actually,
Yeah, actually.
Okay, I was very wrong. I'm very
I saw that
sorry.
ruler on there.
Just kidding. I never did that.
question on holding an action. Does that cost anything, or
It
can
costs two actions to hold an
hold
action.
one.
Yes.
Action economy.
Paizo, we
Okay.
need to talk.
Secondary question: How does
It's
everybody else look?
I've not been hit.
I'm down 2 HP.
You can't see me.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I know. You were the one.
I love you, R2.
You just so
Okoro-
happen to be 35 feet away instead of 30 feet away. Very inconvenient for me.
Are you asking about Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn, or your party?
Yes.
Or both?
Everybody. Yeah, just everybody. I can
Everybody
see.
in the club.
How does Benji look? How does everybody look?
Benji,
How the, the new rocks,
okay.
like the old
Let me
rocks.
grab my tea. Hold on. So Benji is like okay. She's a little emotionally
Tell me
scared.
about it. Tell me about
I'm
it.
going to scream.
Okay, so
We got that energy tonight.
Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn are overall okay. You heard briefly like that he like tried to be brave, something like potentially they're like scuffed. They look like they've been through tunnels and like kind of like where you have as well. But you don't know negative hit points in particular, aside from like a little bit worse for wear.
Okay.
Emotionally, on the other hand, we won't even get into. Go ahead.
I will just. Okay, I will say in her mind, she's trying to do
We're
it
all
quickly.
damaged.
She sees they're a little scuffed. So she is going to do the one thing that she thinks she can do. In the back of her mind, she's going, I need to wait for Arc. I don't think I can wait for Arc. And she is going to pull this energy that you have not seen. It's just going to burst out from her in a 30-foot radius, and I'm going to do my 3-action heal.
Oh shit! Oh
Now
man!
tell me, are you in a curse? Are you in any steps
I'm
of your
not
curse
in a
yet?
curse state,
Okay,
no.
cool.
Yeah, we chill.
Just checking.
No, I'm not. I've been Arafe assumes some shit's gonna go down here, so she's been trying to hold on to stuff. But
Yeah.
Smart.
so I'm
okay,
going to
so-
do my burst, which is I think it's just 1d8 because of burst. Yeah, 30 foot. Okay, so she gives everyone around her 8 HP back.
You're amazing.
Except for Arc. Everyone except for Arc. Because Arc is
I'm sure
technically
she's- I'm
5
sure she
feet
feels
away
really
from
great
me.
I also don't get anything because I was at full HP.
That's fine.
I lied. I had 3 down.
So I am just imagining at this point, Arc is standing and starting to walk towards, and he sees the white healing light come up and just dissipate right in front of him. Because he's 35
It's right there.
away from me.
But it looks fucking cool as shit.
I was hoping to
Wow.
hold him, like, she's gonna hold until he comes into view, but
Old.
can't.
All right, is that the end of your turn?
That's all I can do, yeah. That's all 3.
Okay. The burst emanates out. You see it wash over Ignacy. Though clearly, able to be affected by it, this doesn't seem to alleviate whatever is happening over there.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be that he is necessarily down on hit points. There's something else going on. Who knows what? No one's there can tell. Additionally, next to you, Hideaki, and over Noza, the unconscious Mitflit also heals 6. Whoops! As you see it begin to stir.
Whoopsie poopsies.
Oh my
Whoopsie
god,
noodles.
that's fucking awesome.
It was dead.
The dog says it's awesome.
Cooper
Keller.
loves it when Duval laughs.
I don't think he likes my.
Amazing. Okay. We'll deal with that when it gets to it. Arc.
Well, I'm a failure.
No, you're not.
No, you're
That's
just
my
too good at your
favorite-
job.
my favorite thing about burst heals in this game is having to like not 3 action is the like you want that, but you cannot control who it hits, including enemies, and it's my favorite thing. Honestly.
Assumed the mitt on the
Friendly
front of the
fire.
Not a problem. He's gone.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh, you thought there also were cold-blooded murderers? Oh.
I didn't kill anybody today. Yay.
Sorry. Arc. Anyways.
Yeah, Art's gone to. I assume I have heard Hideaki yell and saw like the RFA energy.
Yeah, I will say, so from how far you are, in addition to the glowing of the mushroom, sorry, this music is intense. Can we lower it?
Yeah, I could come down like another 5% even. It just
It's
it
just 'cause
gets
it's so
it has moments of just like
Okay, I did it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not the decibels, it's how discordant the music goes. So you get this, but from how far you are and how kind of it's bouncing off these cavern walls, it's not like a big open cavern here. It's through a lot of different tunnels. It's a little bit like distorted, a little bit weird. So you're catching almost like every other word. It's not great, but you are clearly hearing echoes coming from that direction. I wanted to quickly check in. Arafe, what did you roll for healing?
8.
1d8?
1d8.
So I believe with the 3 action, it's 1d8 plus 8.
No, the 2
No, it's
action
the 2
is
action.
1d8 plus.
yeah, it was reclarified and
Isn't
Yeah,
that
no,
also the
yeah.
3 action? It doesn't stack to the 3?
It
No,
doesn't.
because you're healing
it's,
so many
just
people.
because it's more people. Yeah, the
I
touch,
also thought that, so
the
valid.
Touch, the
Anyways.
D8, the singular from a distance is a plus 8
Yeah.
on top of it. Yeah, I was
Okay,
hoping,
my
but
bad.
no, I had to read it like 3 times to make sure. It's a very confusing spell.
Sorry, I
No,
also
you're
got
good.
confused there.
That's supposed to be the
Um,
plus of the 2 action. You're spending an extra action, but you're only healing 1 person from range, and you get a plus 8 on it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, sorry, go ahead. You've heard all this, dissonant as it is.
Yep. Ark is going to begin to take off from where he is, run past Hal.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see anything from where I currently am? As I run
Your
past
vision
Hal
shall tell
and
you.
around the first corner.
Yeah, I mean, your vision can, like, your token vision is truly what you see.
Well, I have a camera chicken, sorry.
You cannot. You're kind of blocked by the column that is over here.
Yeah.
How could you, camera chicken?
Yeah, camera chicken.
Betrayal.
Okay.
Real chicken.
Seeing that our
Betrayal
fails in the
most
way and
foul.
not wanting to deal with what we just dealt with.
Well, allies is different. It was okay. You can
Nah,
move through your allies.
My allies are annoying.
That's valid.
Camera chicken might be an enemy. We're not sure yet.
Sure. Art's going to sprint through this northern tunnel
Okay.
and
Northern Tunnel.
wind up beside Overnosa.
Okay. In front of you is a midflit stirring on the ground, and you take in the scene as I've described it with a Koro, strands of glowing dawn, and a prone Ignacy.
Okay. Art's gonna whack the thing with its stick.
Perfect. It's flat-footed to you, so minus 2 to AC.
I swear
Just gonna walk up. Hi,
I'm gonna
everyone.
come around
Whack.
around the corner and see you have murdered yet another thing.
He's like,
Have a
he
very-
like takes about half a second to take in the situation. Realizes like RFA let off a heal, so these are probably real people. They all seem real, not enemies. But now there's a mid-flit here. Oh no, healing magic, and then he slams the stick down.
We just see another coin fling
The
across
lo-
the room.
The logic makes sense.
26 to hit.
Is that another crit?
He should be flat-footed.
Yeah, it's crit.
Yeah, it's great. Nice.
We just start calling Ark the
Which is-
copper killer.
Ironically, like, isn't that basically the damage that was healed?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
crit damage is going to be 8 damage. 8 bludgeoning damage. As he slams the stick down in its chest.
It's a miracle.
Goes
I'm
back
alive.
He's not dead. It's okay.
No, back unconscious. Tell.
Arc failed, just wait till his next turn.
Tell, you hear a thunk.
That
So
could be anything.
yeah, true.
Well, I'm gonna go down with the rest of them.
Well, hell.
There's that. Haha, there's everyone.
Your light comes with you.
Yes. And now that I can see,
You see, like, just barely around the thing, you see, like, the arm and, like, head of, Ignacy.
right? But I can see strands of glowing dawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When light shows, like, partial tokens, I'm like, it doesn't suddenly disappear into darkness. So...
Right. Yeah, I'll... I'm going to, I think, use... I'm going to use the another action to move up and kind of get closer to take in the situation.
Okoro seems to be focusing on Hideaki, seeming to sort of like the intimidation of Hideaki's voice prior seems to sort of just locked him in for a moment on Hideaki. He like notes you there, but seems to be calm. Sands of Glowing Dawn is crouched over Ignacy, still very panicked, very much kind of just like not doing anything while doing everything all at once.
Right.
And as a reminder, if you wish to sustain your lights, that is going to be your last action.
There's a torch here, so I'm gonna.
Perfect.
It's gonna go. Specifically, what does Ignacy look like? Now that I'm like, here, I'm right here.
Make a perception check. Or if you like, no, we'll do perception.
I mean, he looks like crap.
Yeah.
But like purple,
Yeah, but
beautiful
like-
crap.
But like,
Gorgeous crap, darling. You're gorgeous crap.
You're just gold shit. It's great.
gold
Another
shit.
people's treasure.
Hey.
All right. That is a 22.
A 22. 22. 22.
It's
It's a 22. You'll see. All right, so looking past Strands of Glowing Dawn, you see Ignacy, hand sort of clutching at his chest. Immediately, you recognize that he's struggling to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Rather dramatically, the skin that you do see on Ignacy's like neck, beginning to be on his face, his hands, has broken out into hives. His tongue and his throat seem swollen, like he's not quite able to breathe.
Okay.
With that high perception, you're pretty sure. You also see like a sort of wound in his like upper shoulder. He got stung by a bee, and he's now apparently really allergic to bees, and he did not know this.
Do we have a magical EpiPen?
No, but I do have something. I have in my pocket, I have one moderate antidote that I would like to pull out and get. I don't know if I can do this in my turn because I only have one action left. But I would like to give it to the lad.
Give it to the lad.
Yes.
1 second. That's interesting.
I'm interesting. I know.
I mean, if we really want to get into it, being allergic to bees is being allergic to the venom within the bee's sting. So an anti-venom would work.
This is a lesser antidote?
This is a moderate antidote.
A moderate antidote.
Yeah.
Okay.
He dies.
He's also allergic to antidotes. Now, okay.
That would just be mean.
That would be. Duval just turns around and starts cracking up. So An antidote protects you against toxins. Upon drinking an antidote, you gain an item bonus 2 fortitude saving throws against poisons for 6 hours. Just as a reminder. So this is not a cure. This is a boost to his fortitude to try to save from the poison.
Right.
Which he's already infected with, but yes, it'll good. Okay, so you pull this out. It's gonna be an interact action to do that. Next round, you're gonna be able to actually administer it.
Okay, can I give it then to Strands of Glowing Dawn?
Sure, you pull it out and you kind of hand it out in front, kind of like sticking it in front of Strand of Glowing Dawn's face.
And
being
basically
"Take
I like
this."
move, I move myself to kind of like help like prop Ignacy in a way that he could drink it better.
Chef's kiss. It's the top of the round. There's been now one round in which Ignacy has not yet received help.
We tried.
In this- Yes,
Listen.
Listen, it's not a shot. I'm going to make a roll on my end. Like I said. This is, hold on. Oh, sorry. Duval's back. Let me repeat that. It's been one round.
Okay,
in
great.
which Ignacy has yet to receive help. I have to repeat that for you. Sorry.
Oh no! Okay, so what was the
Top of the round.
resolution from the antidote?
I can't give it
it's-
to them because I ran out of actions, but I gave it to
Okay.
Strands of Glowing Dawn, who is going next.
Okay, cool. Okay, great, cool. But
Top of the round.
By the way, power to you, Sarah, for not mentioning the Strands of Glowing Dawn part to cause me to panic. I fucking see you.
Listen, I gotta manipulate here. It's my job.
I'm just telling
So,
stories.
top of the round, Ignacy is going to make his first fortitude save. It's going to be a secret roll on my end.
God, if only I had,
Ooh, secret roll.
if only
Can I argue?
Just
wait,
don't roll one.
Wait.
I just want to slide argue.
You can argue in a second.
Okay.
The tense moment as everyone has run down into this space to surprisingly run into some familiar faces. A loud crumble of rock off to the side to try to guard best they can from one side. The droning of bees, ever present, ever louder, is where we're going to take our break.
Yeah, we are. That's
And we're
going
going to come back to figure out
Perfect.
Ignacy's fate.
That's the perfect.
Um,
Perfect. Yeah,
Gonna
kill him.
do all the
Kill
way to
him
this
because
moment.
then I ruin all of your ships.
no,
spare the dying.
no.
I will say one thing here. There is a non-zero chance that Ignacy can die.
Sure.
I know.
No, I have the magic
Plus-
antidote.
Well, if there was a 0 chance, I assume
have
Paizo
air
wouldn't put
fit.
it in here.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll be right
What do you
back.
want?
Please stick around to find out what happens to Ignacy. Thank you all so much for the
Podcast
raid.
listeners are really mad right now.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Should have been live. Bye.
Oh my god. Stick around, refresh your drinks, stretch, take care of yourselves. We'll be right back. Thank you all. We love
Okay,
you.
bye. See you in a second.
So, welcome back. I have a question for you.
How do you
Is
do
the
this?
ceiling just the ground of the sky? Discuss.
Considering that I can't tell the difference between stalactites and stalagmites, yes, it don't
This is
fucking
how-
matter.
Tights.
You know, I
Like,
actually
remember?
Tights.
I
have to-
Don't explain it to me. I will forget. It won't matter. Don't explain it to me.
Or hear me out.
Sounds like someone doesn't want to know.
Is it just a perpendicular
Welcome to my
wall?
job.
No, it's just trauma
I
because I've
have
literally
to
had
give-
parties do this. Anyway,
I've had to give credit to Matt Mercer for blowing my mind with that MT thing of mites and tights. That I was like, oh, now it makes so much sense, and I've known it ever since. But I never
But
knew
the
before
tights
that.
the tights because they're stalactites grow from the ceiling. They look like they
Here
could
we go.
be a pair of tights.
I've
No, that's not.
I've heard tight to the ceiling.
I won't forget it.
because they have to cling tight to the ceiling.
Okay,
And then
all
my
that's
power
way
of
more
elimination,
complicated.
the other one is
Yes,
stalactites.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, now it's my turn. Now it's my turn.
okay.
What's the difference between stalactites and stalagmites? T and an M.
Gravity.
T
Which is which?
T
T.
is something hanging from the ceiling. M is something going from the
No,
ground.
I don't like that.
That's it.
Or
Uh-huh.
stalagmites are a mound,
gonna-
and stalactites, there's a C in there, comes from the ceiling.
Ooh.
I see. I don't know
I
how to spell,
love
so that doesn't work
that
for me.
This is the conversation. Okay,
So
now there's
reverse gravity scatter
stalactites
scree. So
and stalactites.
But where are the mites?
M.
There's no M in
Oh my
either
God.
of those words.
We're gonna be on here for another 10 minutes, so buckle it up.
you started this.
I'm ready to talk about rocks. Let's go.
Now we're gonna move on to geography.
But I would rather do that than confront anything
Wait,
that's happening
geology?
right now.
Is it jail? Anyway.
All right, my last question.
Uh-huh.
How do you rock me like a hurricane? Okay.
Only on Friday nights.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Like, we
They'll
ship
never
you,
know.
you're a boat. We
They'll
rock you
never
like a
know.
hurricane.
But it's-
Only on this ship that is definitely not sinking.
Anyway, Hignasi is in the balance.
the
Speaking of ships.
Hignasi ship is not sinking, and I refuse to believe this.
This is your fault. I don't know
You
what you're talking about.
you allowed this to remain in the supplement. This is only your fault.
Yeah,
should have
literally.
ripped this page
I only
out.
have myself to blame.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna
There's a
come
song.
back into things with a poor
Stalling.
Ignasi on the ground, who has quite dramatically learned that he is indeed severely allergic to bee stings. Though apparently, according to Okoro, he was trying to be brave. And look what he got him. So
But he's so beautiful.
before we go back into a particular fortitude save, I believe a Waffles had an argument for me.
My argument's
Oh, yeah.
moot at this point.
Good.
No.
My argument was going to be that Strands of Glowing Dawn should be able to apply the antidote first because Fortitude throws happen at the end of the turns, but they're on different rounds. So,
Yeah. Different turnout. All right.
But a good clarification point to make. If you're the one, I swear to God, fucking, I'm coming up to
one
North
is
Carolina.
dead. I'm ready.
Listen, I know for a fact that
So we're
the
gonna go
GM
back
has
to
hero
break now.
points,
Definitely should have rolled it before break.
because you
just
can't
so
hero
knew
point a
you-
1.
Also, I don't.
Oh
think
man, if you had
threatening
known
her
it, like
with
didn't
our-
tell anybody, that would have been genius.
Also, I don't
Oh,
think threatening her with our presence is a good.
That,
We're
the
not
dog's
saying
actually
that.
right here. The dog's here though.
The thing is I do have.
But if it's a
Hero
1, you can't
points.
hero point 1s, right?
No, you can hero point once.
No, you can hear point once.
Oh, I don't know what this entire. Literally, I've been playing. Friends,
done it.
I've been playing
We've
for
done
over a year.
Yep.
This entire time, I thought you couldn't hero point 1s.
No, you just can't
No.
hero point a hero point.
Right.
That's
Okay.
the only rule, really.
Well, now I know.
We're still learning. It's cool. I still don't know how to play this fucking game. Anyway,
All right. Well, you will not know whether or not I'm going to use a hero point, and we're gonna move on to Strands of Glowing Dawn and Okoro's turn here.
Does he stop?
So
like me in real
I would
life.
know. I'm here.
it's true. It's true. You watch as Strands of Glowing Dawn is sort of panicked in this moment. Even though you're shoving it in her face, she's rattled. She doesn't quite know what to do. She sees the thing and she's like, "Oh, right, no, we can do that. Oh, but it can't get past his throat. What are we gonna do? Because his tongue's swollen. And it's okay. She's like petting his head. So she is still a bit too frazzled right now and does need to be treated in some form. However,
I have a form. I do have one.
Well, like a diplomacy check or a...
Oh, no, I have one, but it's not my turn for a very long time.
Yes, that's true, that's true.
Don't worry.
But you are reaching out with this antidote. Now, on the other hand, Okoro is locked in with Hideaki, who has successfully kind of cut through with this intimidation check. So, I will say he's kind of talking to you and not quite seeing this behind him. I will allow for I will let you decide here as players between Tal and Hideaki, who are kind of in front of Okoro.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want him to give you more information about the situation and talk, or turn around and get his attention to administer the antidote?
I would rather him talk, because regardless, I'm going to give him the fucking antidote. Regardless of what Strands of Glowing Dawn is doing, that's what I plan to do, unless someone else does it first. But we need to know what happened. Not me as a player, this is me as a player saying it.
Okay. My only counter to that would be, we can still do that after we save Ignacy, right?
Well, if we don't know technically, but
If the antidote works, it shouldn't matter.
And if it
Why
does,
I mean, the antidote's not going to, fix it, is the thing. The antidote is going to give him a plus to his fortitude save, which he could still fail. If there's an extenuating circumstance, an additional circumstance on top of, he got stung by a bee, then it might be good to milk it out of this fine lad.
All right, fair enough.
I rest my case. Do with it what you will.
Yeah, I think we're talking.
Okay. Okay, so there, we came from over there, and he points to the kind of closed-in cave. We're supposed to be, are we under Verdant House? Still? You guys aren't, would you sent also?
Was it in the library?
Archhorn.
Yeah, that's what I say. No, we're in the Archhorn library.
Okay, so we didn't,
So we
I
went the
don't know
wrong
how
way.
we got here, but now that's closed, and so we came over here and we were just exploring like we were supposed to, and then we were trying to get around that way, and there were some really angry bees that we were going to just get away from, and they came after me, and Ignacy decided to, and you hear coming from Ignacy, decided to just, I don't know, he jumped in front and then he got stung, and that wouldn't normally be a big deal, but then he started breaking into hives and everything started his mouth started, his tongue started swelling, and you see him kind of get flustered again, and he sees your presence to keep in check, and so we don't know what to do, because I don't know how to do the healing necessarily. That's not really what I do, and we don't know how to get up to the surface because the way back is closed, and we have no idea where to go from here.
Put a hand on his shoulder. Just because we don't know doesn't mean we can't fix it.
I can't have what happened to Tal happen again. It can't be my fault.
You have no idea.
Arafe picks up on that very quickly.
Tal hears it too, because Tal's right there.
Right there.
And you realize with this how much this kid has been blaming himself for not guarding Tal's door properly.
He should.
Oh, kitty.
And that's kind of where he kind of just breaks a little bit, and starts to kind of tear up a little bit.
I'll kind of grab his other shoulder now, like kind of have them both like this and lock in. I've done plenty of bleeding myself for the last several months. We can talk about it over drinks once we get the fuck out of here. Deal?
Yeah. Do you know how to get out of here?
Nope. But we're gonna figure it out because we've been in worse situations than this.
You do know how to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's
And then all the other thing I said. I misunderstood because I thought he was like, and then like the door got blocked. So I was like, classic like RPG, like of course the door got blocked. So we had to go
the cave where they came from got blocked, but your way is clear.
It's like,
Okay. And he's just sort of
out.
nodding in that moment. There seems to be, and then he does also just add to share to you as he kind of like has talked to you for a little bit now, that down over there, it's weird because it's like oddly sticky over there. And he kind of warns you that there's like just a lot of goop and like whatever stuff that he's not quite sure what it is. Excuse me. Down over there. And it seems to be a little bit difficult to traverse. So you do gain one piece of knowledge for potentially what you can expect down over here. And now I will say, because Strands of Glowing Dawn has not been otherwise calmed, is just a wash for her. Hideaki, It is now your turn.
Bees. What's the sitch?
What's that?
Bees. What is the sitch?
Bees.
Are they getting closer? What's the play, coach?
You look down. Make me another perception check. Do you want to go like down a little bit to like try to see, or you?
Nah, I gotta stay with my boy. I gotta stay with my boy right here.
Okay.
So
The stalagmites are blocking him.
I don't even know which ones that means. Anyway,
I don't know if that was a joke because it was incorrect or if it was right.
I genuinely,
No,
dirty 20. I'm just coming apart here, everybody. I'm just telling my truth.
You are looking over down there, keeping a close eye. The droning is not getting any particularly louder than it already is. You don't hear anything approaching in the current moment, but you do hear sort of like just like the loud buzzing and sort of like there's movement of the buzzing, like you can tell it kind of goes like over there, but it's not coming closer.
Okay. Got it.
Which is interesting, by the way.
Yeah.
I will say, like, with the knowledge of everything that you've had so far,
especially since I yelled.
You've experienced the bees up in the room, and they kind of came at y'all because they were irritated, and you all shared the information, right? That there was something odd about the bees.
Not with these guys, I don't think, but
no, like with when you were dealing, y'all.
Oh yeah, we did.
Whoever succeeded with the nature trick kind of shared that information.
Yeah, we did.
If they were aggressive in the current moment, they would have had plenty of time to come at you all at this point in time, and it seems like you're kind of piecing with your perception check and everything that they're not. Y'all are over here, they're over there, and they seem to be okay with that in the current moment.
Okay. Boy, oh boy. So as like Ignacy's like choking and stuff, but he's still conscious. He's just like not doing so hot, right?
He's not doing so hot.
Not doing so hot. Okay. And Strands of Glowing Dawn has the antidote currently.
It is in Tal's hand still.
Tal's hand still. Okay. Because I know you were talking about switching and giving it to Kokoro, right?
No.
Out. Okay, cool. So you're still giving it.
Tal's just holding it out basically in front of.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I'm imagining that Tal's like holding it and just kind of like looking at Strands of Glowing Dawn, who's just being an absolute unhelpful pile right now.
Fair enough.
Just with like a
and you can tell she's like an anxious mess, but it is very much motherly doting of like, like patting his forehead.
Yeah, like I said, an unhelpful mess.
Yeah, totally. So he's gonna look at Strands of Glowing Dawn. Listen, this is just like you helping me figure out the gifts for everybody. The gift, it just so happens to be not dying. It's not a big deal. I need you right here. I need you locked in because this is important. And I know you know that.
Make a diplomacy check. Charisma
that's cool.
character.
I know, right? Thank God. Yeah, it's a 24.
Ooh, perfect. She looks at you and sort of like takes a moment to breathe. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And so she kind of is like looking around now. So it's no longer her turn. But she seems to be shaken out of at least enough frazzledness to listen and do whatever is asked of her.
Fair enough. And as part of that, like, act together, I'm gonna have Overnosa move around. Oh, I guess I can't.
I can move it for you. What do you need?
Because the right behind Transblue.
Oh, yeah, like kind of pass
Yep.
over there. Sure.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye
Mhm.
behind them. Perfect.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of stuff. So this is like, maybe I could argue I have like one action left.
Maybe, yeah. I can give you the perception check for free if you'd like.
Yeah. Just in case, I'm gonna cast protect companion on Overnosa.
Perfect. Okay. And that energy kind of transfers between you, bolstering Overnosa. Airfey, it is your turn. Arc, you're on deck.
Question, real quick, before it's my turn. Because of that connection, and the fact that Tal's still holding the thread, does Tal like feel anything?
Oh, the thread, after it kind of wrapped around and the message got sent, dissolved into nothing.
Okay.
And disappeared.
I just wanted more drama. Anyway, please continue.
But you do note, Tal, I forgot to mention, thank you for bringing it up though, like even the thread, not just the glint of connection, but the thread around your finger, like just wisped away in like black smoke.
I was muted so you couldn't hear my visceral sound effects, but great.
Great.
Good.
Good.
I'm very satisfied. Thank you very much. The defense
Perfect.
rests.
The defense rests. Airfey.
So no one has fed this poor man this antidote yet.
It's in my hand. It's going into his mouth in like 2 seconds.
It's been less than 6
Sell show combat.
Okay, well, Airfey is going to walk... Oh, that's not the right tool. There we go.
I do recognize that crowd.
You might be stuck
But-
in the walls. I got you.
I can't move. I'm gonna go right
Yeah.
next to Ignacy.
You come down and you're right next to like a bunch of rocks now.
But I am going to reach out and grab the antidote.
Got it.
Give it to Ignacy.
Okay.
And if I still can, I'm also going to cast guidance on him as well.
That cool sound effect that happened just as you said guidance was really cool.
I know, that was amazing.
Ding.
I'm so glad I didn't grab it now.
Yeah, so she goes
I
down
have
to take... Is that too many things?
No.
Too
I
many
want flavor here.
Yep.
As you walk down, so first of all, there's still the unconscious. So like, I'll move you for a hot second, but there's the unconscious mid-flit, which you can just like almost step over as you are then right beside Tal to just snatch up that antidote. What is your expression like in this current moment? Like, I heard a little frustration of like in your voice of no one has fed this to Ignacy yet, and I want to know what Airfey's thinking as she just steps right between like this conversation between Okoro and Hideaki after snatching up this antidote.
If the GM will allow me to have a bit of flavor in here.
Oh yes.
No, this is bland.
Actually,
white rice.
Yep, it's black and
Only
white.
bread.
I'd like to make some Cajun.
Tuna.
She had flits of memory come back to her. So in
yes.
those flits, she has seen panic around illness before, panic around death, panic around all this. And realizing that in those moments she was comfort. So while she is freaking out and the I let Tal die is something that constantly sits in Airfey's head, she's gonna shut it down and just go straight to calm, I need to be the rock here kind of situation. So she's just going to go gently grab the antidote from Tal, look at Strands of Glowing Dawn, say, "Have this. Don't worry." Feed the antidote to Ignacy as she puts her hand on his chest and lets that light go from her through her hand into his chest as she casts guidance.
Okay. You are familiar with medical knowledge in this go around. So as you go to guidance, and this is kind of your first time laying eyes on Ignacy yourself, there's going to be a couple things that you can do here. You are, first of all, you have healer's tools, which is important. You know that the antidote is not enough to fix this. It's going to help him, but he needs to be treated.
Okay.
So someone needs to do a medicine check to treat him, to help him with this. And I will say, if you want to, instead of the guidance, because with the antidote, I like pluses and things to rolls to be satisfying to y'all. I will utilize the +2, I believe. Moderate is +3. The +3 of the antidote that you administer to go to your medicine check, if you would like to do that instead.
I can cast guidance on my turn as knowledge.
Okay, I'll do that then.
I was
Knowing-
actually, in fact, planning to do that. So, like,
Knowing that someone else has the ability to help out.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think that sounds like a good plan. So I need a medicine check.
Would you like to know the DC?
Yes.
It is going to be a DC 20.
Okay, so I need a 12 or better.
Let's go.
Well, that's an 18 for 26.
Let's go! Fucking gang gang! Airframe. I heal.
Medicine.
Okay.
Medicine is fuck.
My diplomacy's still higher in trained. I don't understand that.
Yeah,
but,
you're more charisma than Hideaki is, actually.
The calming presence, purposeful presence of Arafe steps forward, pulling the antidote out of your hand, Tal, stepping through the conversations of Hideaki and Okoro, and kneeling down beside the body of Ignacy. Calmly, carefully, with medical prowess, is able to feed the potion through the swollen throat, tongue, pulls out healer's tools, and begins to, equivalent of EpiPen, the heck out of Ignacy. Successfully. Ignacy begins to be able to breathe. He's not looking 100%.
Deep, slow breaths.
Immediately, upon being able to breathe, he sweeps his hair back out of his face and leans up
Priorities, my dude.
So
on like
extra.
his elbows.
God.
Winks
Oh,
at
I'm like
Hideaki.
propped. Yeah, I'm like propping him up because I was like
Yeah.
preparing to give him this thing.
What'd you say, Waffles?
I said he winks at Hideaki.
Same time next week? Fridays?
Hideaki, I always told you took my breath away.
Y'all are so bad, and I'm complicit.
You perpetuate this.
I do. It's fun.
He leans up on like one elbow, propped up by Tal. Thanks. Whew. I did not know I was allergic. Now I know.
Fine time to find out.
Yeah. Kind of looks over. At this point, he gives a sort of like sorry smile over to Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn. And then that's kind of followed up as he kind of looks up at you, Tal, like nodding and thanks to helping him prop up. And he's just like, I'm fine. I think I'm all right now. Kind of sits up slowly. Kind of feels his face to see like how swollen is it. Sees like a little bit of the hive slowly like receding. I'm sure that will. Kind of looks over to you, Arafe. This will go away, right?
Eventually, yes. It will all calm down over the next couple days.
Thanks. Thank you. like realizing he hasn't like properly thanked you yet, Arafat, kind of just like then immediately kind of looks down and pats himself. Doesn't quite see his book on him. Looks around and just kind of like focuses, and then in his hand the book appears, like just shows up in his hand. He's like, okay, good, I'm okay.
Disappointment.
He kind of puts it back in his holster.
Of course, he has a holster for his book.
It's on his.
That's
like,
hot, actually. That's like legit.
Very
It's on the inside of his
It's
thigh.
very attractive.
Yeah.
Not the outer thigh, but the inner thigh. You gotta work on it. You gotta really work to get
Inner
access to
thigh
that.
book holster. That sounds so
Wow.
That's really, really uncomfortable.
It just sort of like
All the paper cuts.
Why do you keep wearing out the crotch of your jeans?
Back in my home, we call it book chafe.
I love us so much.
Chapter 65 really does a number on you.
Just a placement thing.
There's instant relief from Strands of Glowing Dawn, who is sticking by his side at this point. And she's just like, we need to make sure he's okay though. I know. He's like, I'm fine. I'm sure it'll be all right. And she's like, no, we're going to check. Yeah, go ahead.
Never mind. I retract my hand motion. Continue, please.
And Akora's like turning around and he's just like, no, she's right. She's right. We should just make sure you get some rest, because that was a lot. It's
You're
fine.
not in a position to dictate.
We were heading
Who's
up
that
to
to?
the surface anyway.
Oh, that's to Ignacy.
Okay.
We were heading up to the surface anyway. We picked up a friend that we would like to bring to the surface as well. So why don't we just all head up so that Ignacy can get some rest?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a plan.
I mean, it's fine. Like, everything that he's saying is being absolutely immediately dismissed as he's being like helped. Yeah.
Airface kind of staring him down a little bit, like.
Oh, Tal is glaring at him. Tal's got a scowl of like, are you serious right now?
Surrounded by people, he's just like, okay, no, that's fresh air sounds lovely.
There you go.
He's just like a little put back to his place, and sort of flanked by Okoro and Strands of Glowing Dawn, who are like arm in arm with him. They are ready for you to lead the way. There does not seem to be any additional aggressive movement coming from the right, kind of still what you were holding from before, Hideaki. They're not seeming to want to bother you.
As everyone turns around,
Great.
Ark is tying up this mid-flip.
Okay.
So, R2,
Yes.
how was your journey here? As you can see, ours was quite eventful.
Safe.
That's good. Guess you were right, huh?
Yes.
You all, whoever wants to think this, do know though, like, Strands of Glowing Dawn and Okoro were not doing anything to help Ignacy in that moment.
No.
And he would have gone into shock and potentially
He would have
died
died,
if he had not
certainly.
been helped.
Yeah, that's immediately what he thinks when R2 says he's right. Again, like, hills.
Benji is not immediately around you, but upon going back up, she's still in her corner now, kind of just stacking up rocks, her little rocks on top of each other. And then as soon as she sees you, she's like, "Oh!" and she quickly puts the rocks back in her little pouch that's hanging around her neck, and is ready to go. And
We should warn her
quickly,
we have 3 more friends coming. She doesn't get concerned.
are they gonna hurt me?
No.
Okay.
There are.
Okay. When introduced, Strands of Glowing Dawn does sort of like go into a bit more like calm, like, oh, but perhaps because of her own nature of kind of being judged by her looks and knowing that a lot of Anadis are not well liked in society just because of the fear of their spider form, she doesn't immediately judge Benji and carefully takes her like under her wing a little bit, and she almost like pulls out this sort of scarf, and puts it around Benji, carefully, and you see her kind of like doing it almost to like help have more areas to touch that aren't covered in lice in the current moment, and it's just very kind of like swift leading, but easily enough you're able to come as a group, and I won't move all your tokens for the moment, back up to the glowing mushroom. Do you all go back up the familiar path, or are you going any other direction other than the one that you know, just so I'm aware?
Ark is pushing for the familiar path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact,
honestly, same
Hideaki would even ask Ark to lead on.
And Ark is carrying the mid flip.
So okay, just carrying it tied up, so to
Yeah.
speak, unconscious still. Okay, perfect.
Yep, like over his shoulder, like not in any kind of like harmful way or anything.
Okay.
His plan is basically to hand it over to the teachers for whatever they think is the best course of action, to release it, to interrogate it, etc., etc. But it's not his job. So
Makes sense.
Interesting.
That's fun. That's fun.
I will remember this. This is fuel.
Oh,
So easily,
Paladin.
I'll say easily with an asterisk, enough you go back into the basement room of the Archorn Library, the previously used to be dance studio. There doesn't seem to be any changes that you notice in this area. It's not like there's anything that's been here that you can see anyways, and you're able to make your way back up. In this point in time, aside from some small conversations, Okoro and Spirits of Going Dawn are focused on Ignacy and Benji. Tell me if there's anything aside from simply, depositing the people that you need to deal with. There is any conversation that needs to be had amongst yourselves or with anybody else.
Not till I get back down in the tunnel.
Ark would ask for another. Actually, it probably hasn't been long enough. Never mind. Sorry, probably hasn't been an hour yet.
Oh, for medicine.
And let me know if y'all are taking some time up there or otherwise just going, depositing, and getting back to it, because time is still moving.
Right. Hideaki's gonna look to Ignacy. Don't worry. If you're worried if I'm going to hold this over your head, you're absolutely right to be worried.
I would expect nothing less. And you know what? I appreciate it. And he's trying to he's very much trying to pretend that he's not that winded.
Yeah.
Though his voice catches every once in a while. I owe you all a favor. So if I can cash that in, I would appreciate it not being held over my head for too long. But you let me know what you need of me, and I will do my best.
Don't I owe you a favor? Does this cancel out our initial thing?
Yes, actually. Yeah, we're good.
Interesting.
But RFA, if you need any alchemical potions, I can supply them for you sometime after this, if that's a decent exchange. Just let me know.
Ignacy, if I wanted that, I'd ask as a friend. No one owes me favors.
I'll take her a favor.
No.
No, that's not how that works.
He's just smiling. He's totally kidding.
If healers required favors, it'd be a terrible place.
And I would owe RFA 17 favors.
Right. Well, nonetheless, I mean, and you can, without a perception check, he's uncomfortable with that. And it's not in a, maybe a little bit reminiscent to Ark's kind of confusion sometimes of that's not how that works though. a little bit like that. He's just kind of like, right. But he's like a little bit too exhausted to be his otherwise flamboyant, charismatic self.
Do I get a favor?
Oh, yes, of course, yes. You helped.
Next chance I have, can I read your book?
He's done it. Everyone, they've done it. Arc 2, everybody.
I will let you see my book, if that will suffice.
Sure.
Very well. Do you wish to do so now, or?
No, I still have a job to do.
Right.
Hideaki has like goosebumps. Doesn't say anything, though.
My book for 1 minute.
That is fine.
Very well. It is a straightforward interaction.
It was just that simple. It was that simple, Hideaki. You could have just...
Shut, Maria! Don't tell me that this thing that I've been wanting since episode 1 was that simple. How dare you?
Maria,
What
that's
do you
not
hate
the
that?
favor Hideaki wants.
No, I know that's not the favor that Hideaki
You didn't ask
wants.
it the right way, Hideaki.
No, it's because you don't want
No.
that.
No, I
That's
You
don't
want
not
something
the
else
favor
is
that
not-
Hideaki wants from
You can read his
McMaster.
book tomorrow morning. It's okay.
In bed.
Num, 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 num,
Weird
num.
words. Okay. What's going on? Talk to me. Or we'll come right back down.
I think we're headed
I'm
back
ready to read
down.
them.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
As we do head back down, just Arafe is just going to stop by Okoro and just whisper to them, "It wasn't our fault. Tal's okay."
He gives you this smile. It's like, thanks. I
And
know,
she's
it's just...
Oh yeah,
Is Benji going
struggle with it too.
going out? Sorry.
No, that's okay. She
What
just
did you say, Rafe?
she just says, "I struggle with it too."
And he gives you this sort of like... It's just this very like... plain, like it's definitely a surface level smile, but it's with no malice, just it is what it is. It's okay. And he's like, he's trying. Benji is with you all, yes.
So you ready to
And-
go up?
Oh, yeah, I could, I'll just follow you all. You just tell me what I gotta do, and I'll help you. It's fine.
I think
I'm
we're
not
gonna.
usually
You're-
allowed up here.
Do we see any teachers that we recognize?
Yeah, I mean, so if you all are heading like out of the Archhorn Library, you
Yeah.
all know where, like, the base is being set up, like outside of Tireless Hall.
Okay.
You could either head there, you could find a teacher, like you could do,
Yeah.
whatever you like. So,
First, not douchebag teacher we see.
okay, is that what you're thinking, Tal?
That's what I would. Yeah, because I don't want to just like hand her off to someone and be like, take this
There,
person
right?
to whomever, because like, who
mean-
knows what they're gonna do.
Arafe's always going to gravitate toward Odd. Always.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So
Teacher's
I will
bad.
say though, like as you all basically exit the Archhorn Library, you see, let's see, who do you see?
Do we know if any of our teachers speak Undercommon so they can talk to Benji?
About to find out. Think so. I think we're about to find out.
Well, isn't that a good question?
Or if we've ever seen any teachers cast comprehend languages.
Comprehend languages. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
So one of the first things you see is sort of jogging across campus in one of the directions, and not the direction of Tireless Hall, is, well, you know her as a teacher, though not one that's been on campus recently, is teacher Tahenkut.
I don't remember who that is.
Is that
Or rather, I suppose the proper last name I should say is Teacher Jana.
Yeah, it's Essie's mom.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, don't tempt me, chat. That's when the party learned that the only teacher in the entire campus who speaks Undercommon is Karine.
I would literally leave the campaign. Because when I said douchebag, y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. Anyway.
There was only one option.
There was only one option.
Yeah, so you see Essie's mom basically jogging by. And I say teacher, Jana, but like I believe I don't want to get the things wrong. I believe it's lore speaker. I forget which tier she is technically. But she might not be an active teacher, but she's definitely like a person of the Magaambya of higher standing.
Faculty member.
Yeah, exactly. You see her kind of jogging by, you can get her attention. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, we do so.
We wave her down.
I'm on my and she kind of looks around, sees like the menagerie that you all are right now,
Coated in
including
dirt
a tied up
blood
gremlin and a gremlin that's kind of hiding behind like people. Right.
And dog.
Oh, and yeah, and the giant dog.
and the giant dog.
Right, we have the mastiff.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Help. We need a place that we could help this one out right here. Pointing at Benji and give them a little bit of space. They're really cool, pretty decent at cleaning. Isn't that right, Benji?
Oh yeah, I could do that. And she kind of like clears up some like dirt from the path to try to like show her prestidigitation. I could do that.
And as far as this one kind of points at R2, or points at the tied up gremlin. I don't know if you have any ideas about what to do with this one.
We captured one, and I thought it would be more useful to the teachers, and if not, then you can let it go.
Seeing the way you kind of talk, Ark, she looks over to you. And this one, she points over to Benji. Can you think of a place for Benji to be?
Talking to Art.
Yep.
Specifically, no, but somewhere quiet, especially at first. Ideally away from people. Let them get their bearings.
Do you think she's going to cause any harm?
Maybe. But
I don't
Okay.
think
I
so.
think so.
and when
She
they
has a
say
bit
that,
of a
Art
lice
goes,
problem.
What do you mean by harm? Not intentionally.
Okay. Unintentional harm is the possibility. Very well. So, if you had to pick somewhere on campus, where would you go?
What is the quietest place Art knows?
The treehouse.
The tree.
Okay.
Or a dorm.
Wait, there are rooms in the treehouse that I did not make up for any of us. There are
Sure.
rooms that are unclaimed.
Yeah.
I did remember the size of our treehouse.
If you're looking for, because the thing is that you're looking for a space without many people that is somewhere safe to put somebody for now, and you think that based on how Benji's been acting so far, she will kind of just listen to orders as long as she's safe, kind of a deal.
Yep.
That's probably the most out of the way place that will likely not be interacting with other students of the Magaambya while you're gone.
Gotcha.
Sure. Then, yeah, Art
Okay.
would say, I believe the treehouse, and he would specify the room that's empty. And
Sounds like you don't need our help then. It sounds like you have it quite in hand. Trust your gut. Do what you need to do.
we need to get back to the cave.
Very well. Get back to it.
What about this one? Pointing at the tied up one.
I believe they're gathering them by the tireless hall.
All right.
All right.
Good. Glad I could be of help. And she starts like dragging back off.
Arafe's gonna turn to the trio quick. That we brought up with us. Okoro and those. Do any of you speak under?
Ooh.
Good question.
I love how I was like waiting for them to answer, and I was like, "That's me." That's me. Yeah,
I've totally done
got
that.
it.
Well, guys.
Well, guys, what? No.
Well,
What do you?
Speak for yourself.
When are you gonna answer? Come
Speak
on.
up.
Ignacy probably does. That's my guess.
Ignacy
good
does, for sure. Let's see.
I'll be
Let's
shocked
see.
if
Let's
I was
see.
gonna think Strands of Glowing Dawn would too.
Yeah, maybe all of them, honestly.
Ignacy's intelligence is too high not to have like 6 languages.
600 languages.
All right.
I feel
There are
attacked.
2 though.
Listen.
Listen, I got
Okoro
intelligence
does
of
not.
zero.
Okoro
Okay,
does
okay,
not.
okay.
And Strands of Glowing Dawn, we'll say, is learning and knows it very choppily.
Nice.
Great.
I have 10
You all-
languages.
Help Benji get set up in the treehouse.
Treehouse.
It's our it's
So we have a treehouse.
It used to be a
Kind
library,
of.
and we cleaned it out, and then we kept it.
Benji. Okoro turns, like, kind of speaking in common. Can you come with us to get?
She only speaks undercover.
Yep, as far as we know.
Okay, we can. Okay, can you tell her to just like follow us, and we'll go get Ignacy some rest, and then take her there?
I'll get down
Ignacy's
on one
like-
knee.
Yeah. Well, he goes to. Yeah, go for it though.
Yeah, because I want to. So we're going. These are our friends. Oh, this is an undercommon, obviously.
Yeah.
These are our friends.
I expect it to be an undercommon.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No, Duval, please speak undercommon. Thank you.
So you not to know
We're going full method.
I'm ready. I got your comedy here. Let's go.
I'll speak it in undercommon,
wow.
but I'm gonna need you to understand it.
Touche.
Hot diggity damn. So he
Yeah.
gets down on one knee. So we're not leaving you permanently, or hopefully anytime soon. We're just trying to resolve the situation where we were. So they're gonna drop you off at our house, and we'll come see you in a little bit. Okay? Here we go.
Don't read chat. It's your
Oh,
first
Maria.
mistake. Your first mistake. Your first and only mistake is to ever read chat.
Maria.
Okay. So you're coming back for me later. Like, I'll be waiting for you.
I promise.
there's
Okay.
a room there if you do want to keep yourself busy. There's a room there that they'll show you that it hasn't been cleaned out at all, so you can clean it up as much as you want to.
Arc translate.
Okay. I'll clean it up really good for you. I promise. I
I
will.
bet you will.
Okay.
Okay.
Please,
Thank you.
please don't go
I
in,
don't want-
and then Art tells him where his room is.
Oh, I won't go. I won't
Thank
go
you.
there. I'll go. Okay. So I'll clean up what I can in the room. And I'll make sure it's clean before you get back.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm following them.
Yes.
Okay.
You're doing great.
And easily enough, you all basically, oh my god, I just totally blanked on the word. You all,
Deposit.
disperse orders. Words.
Delegate?
Delegate. That's the word. You delegate. You no longer tied with these things are ready to basically head right back down if that is what you so choose.
Let's
All
finish this.
Let's go back.
Tal, take it away.
Great. When we get downstairs to that first room before we go into the tunnels,
Here we go.
Secret tunnel.
Tal kind of like falls behind a little bit, and assuming that like Arc by default is in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Tal will kind of stop and say,
Why couldn't we have done that with all of them? Why did you
Done-
choose to leave that one alive?
Done what?
Taking all of them as captives. Not.
Because the others posed a threat. They attacked.
Did they?
After I attacked, yes. The ones that stood down, which should not have escaped with their lives. Only those that attacked were killed.
To be fair, the one that I yelled at to stand down did get killed.
It stepped towards me.
And away from me.
Is the plan going forward to allow all of us to get hit before attacking?
I don't think so. I think this is case by case every time. It just gets complicated now.
I do not think it is complicated.
And I get it, because I told every gremlin that we've seen so far, threatened most of them. They're certainly a part of this entire situation. But Tell, I get your perspective too. I don't have an answer.
There's been one time that another creature has gotten the jump on us since we have entered the school. Should I remind everyone?
Remind me. Remind us.
It jumped out of a tree. So would we rather I not kill if I pose them a threat and one of us die?
We don't have to stoop and become monsters.
I did not kill needlessly, I don't believe. Plenty escaped. That one which posed no threat was knocked out and tied up. But I am open to conversation.
It's a hard choice. On one hand, we don't want to kill needlessly, but on the other hand, we don't want to die. It's not.
I certainly would like to get stabbed less.
I don't know if there is a right answer. There's ideal choices, but I don't know if there's a right answer. Ideally, we'd come down here, say we pose no threat, talk it out, and everyone would walk away, but we don't know if that's the right choice. We don't know if that's the way it will go.
It's highly unlikely that it's the right choice. The ones that escaped have likely told others, and now we will be ambushed. Should we allow that and then say, stand down?
Based off of how long this has been going on, I doubt that whoever's behind this would want to be talked out of it at this point.
I agree. They've attacked the school on multiple occasions. They've almost killed friends and family. Yet they deserve a chance to stand down multiple times?
They don't deserve to die like they did.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if we all stay at the same room. It's horrendous in there. I don't know what you did, but it's awful.
It was a coin.
I get what you're
It was
saying.
bad.
We can't choose when something is going to come at us, but this sounded like it was a choice.
Certainly, it was a choice.
You chose to. You didn't choose to give them a chance.
I believe that is untrue.
So, Arc 2, from your perspective, they weren't running away from me, they were running towards you.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
One of them, yes. The other was actively attacking me.
Tal, do you find any fault in that?
And for reference, Ark is down 13 hit points. He's at like 2/3. So he has been beat a couple times.
And has not been healed.
Yeah.
Tal doesn't respond to your question, I don't think.
Okay. That's fair. I think, Arc 2, to your question, I think he like looks at Tal for a second and then sort of understanding the non-response, tries not to like so quickly like head conversation in another direction, and like makes a point to like physically still like have like group talk, not like individual. I don't think anything changes really. We just have to trust that we're making the best decisions with the information that we have. Speaking of the tree, I was ready to burn the damn forest to the ground.
I believe that would have been rash.
I agree. So maybe we just try not to be rash and hope for the best.
So I should continue on the path.
I think so.
He looks at RFA and Tal. I do understand
how I kill it.
Oh, sorry. I do understand any hesitation. But hesitation is what will end up having us hurt. If you don't want to kill, feel free to turn your back.
There are choices I want, and choices I feel like we need to make. Don't know what the right ones are. I think we can only do what we think is right at the time.
Yeah.
It's very easy for me in the back to say we shouldn't. It's very easy for me to throw up a protection and say I can take care of you, try and talk it out, but it's not that easy in the front. It's a different way you have to think. I think we should mitigate as much as we can, try and be as diplomatic as we can, but also be open to the understanding that that might not be a possibility. I don't think... Or if I kind of stops and thinks, I think we have to stop thinking about it in black and white and think of it in shades of gray. This isn't diplomat or murder. There are spaces in between.
And Ark will openly say, I disagree. I believe if we begin thinking in shades of gray, is when the battlefield also will turn to a shade of gray. It will become 50-50 whether we live or die. Did you see who we just took up? Ignacy? The two panicked? I can almost guarantee that at some point they were operating in the Shades of Grey.
If we didn't get there, well, we got there. I think we're talking a very different story. So I guess the question is how do we get on the same page with this? Or do we? Can we?
I am not willing to hold punches and die. I will say that I have yet to unleash anything that is my strongest. So no, it was not senseless killing. If I caught them in a dark battle room just the right way, and it didn't sit with you, Tal, I apologize. But it will happen again. He lets it sit for like 3 seconds, and then the last thing he says, he kind of mutters a little bit. And he says, "We're not playing down here."
Tal's eyes shoot straight daggers into you. I'm not a child, Ark.
I agree.
And you could never hold back, and you could still die. Trust me, I know, as you so kindly pointed out.
I also agree.
I just don't understand how it seems that it's so easy for you, and even for you, gesturing towards Hideaki, to say that it is okay just to take another being's life. It's different when it is insects or pests or things of that nature. These things... It's different.
I think there's a difference between saying it's an okay, that's okay, and justifying it so that you can survive.
Arafe, in this moment, there is one flicker of memory that just kind of comes to the forefront of your mind, which is a voice. And it's a little bit confusing because is it a memory or is this a conversation that you had with your shadow? But you just hear your shadow's voice kind of go, "Why are people so afraid of death?"
Don't know. I honestly don't know.
None of you have heard that out loud. That's almost like a thought that you had, not necessarily that you're hearing it right now. But if you reply out loud, then the rest of you hear that.
I think I will. Because I don't know if she knows how to mentally communicate with her shadow.
Totally fair.
So she just says it out loud.
Are you
But
speaking
whether or
to-
not you take that as me talking to someone or responding to the conversation that's
Listen,
happening
it
right
sounds
now,
like you're responding to when Tal said, "I don't know. It's I don't know how you can kill so easily."
And what did
which
Arafe say?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Because so I should ask her shadow and her, do they kind of hold a mental connection in some way, or?
Not particularly.
Okay.
It's always been conversation, yeah.
Okay, never mind then. Conversation.
I think Hideaki will sort of pick up there, and it's not okay. I think about Kirchkin. I think about what was the name of the thing in the tree again? Syrup? I forgot the species.
Umbo?
I forgot.
Our best
Oh,
the
friend?
Myconid.
The Myconid?
Myconid, yeah.
Myceloid?
Myceloid? Yeah.
Myceloid.
I think it was myceloid. I thought about the myceloid. Frankly, Cal, when you were gone, it's all I could think about was just reckless vengeance. I don't want that. I don't even want that from this either. I just want to resolve it. And I just want to know that we, all of us, did the best that we could with the information that we have. And I recognize that that's just an oversimplification of a very complex situation here. What else is one to do?
This is not vengeance, though. It is simple. What we have done so far has been the right decisions.
Are you saying that killing is simple, Arc 2?
If they are attacking you, and you lash out, and they die in the process, yes.
Do you recognize that in having to walk through the problem, that defines it as not simple?
No, because I walked you through the problem. I end up at the answer automatically.
Okay.
And if I may say one last thing. This isn't vengeance. It is a job. If we would like to not be on the same page and quit, let us exit. The door's behind us. Let's walk out.
I'm not interested in that at all. I want to end this.
I agree. I'm sure we all have reasons to be here in this school.
I'm not even thinking about the school. I'm just thinking about this specific problem. Because if this isn't resolved, we may not have a school tomorrow.
I agree.
I feel we need to keep going simply from that note on the map. This is where they live.
We didn't even tell
Send
them
this
about
person to kill them.
We didn't even tell them.
I think we can still work with trying to let them escape or, minimizing, but the reality, unfortunately, is they're coming for us. Not specifically us four, but for the school. There are other people in danger here. We can try and get them to retreat, try and block off as much of the tunnels as we can, but push comes to shove.
We'll just make new tunnels.
I won't let someone kill my friends. I won't.
I choose us to.
If I put that blood on my hands, I'll take it. If we can minimize it, fantastic. I want to do that. But I won't justify letting other people die for my own morality. I can't do that.
Tao. Have you ever wanted to kill someone?
No.
Have you ever had to?
No.
Can you understand the difference between both of those?
Tao's silent for a while and then just shakes their head.
I believe, and I may differ from many, that somebody's intrinsic soul and wants cannot be changed. If they want to kill and they're seeking to do harm, they will continue so. If they have to kill, that is different. That said, everyone down here, for the most part, except for Benji, thus far, have been seeking to do harm. And the beast. The beast don't understand. The last person we let go that was seeking to do harm was Kirshen, who returned with more people. If we let somebody else go, and Ignacy ends up dead, or a teacher, or he looks Arfe, will that be okay, or then we go seeking vengeance? Because that is wrong.
Tal kind of takes it in. And slowly nods, kind of looking down at the ground. And says, okay.
And Ark seems...
Can I make a perception check?
Ark seems abnormally strong about this.
What are you looking for in the perception check? What are you aiming to get?
Is the okay I'm done talking about this versus okay, I agree versus I understand where you're coming from? I'm trying to delineate what okay means.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's start with just a perception check.
Oh, that is cocked AF. Oh, that's really good. That's a 24.
24.
It is a resigned acknowledgement. And you might be able to get from like a little bit of their, maybe a little bit of their body language, that they're still grossly uncomfortable with the idea. Yeah, that's what you kind of get.
Is there a shift from feeling a form of moral high ground to the moment that you are in now and seeing...
Oh, 100%. Here's where the shift is. It was a, like, how dare you all be murderers, and it has shifted to, actually, I was ignorant and naive about the actual, like, gross situation of this entire everything. The perspective has shifted, and though they are not okay with it, they realize in this moment that they are the ones that are not okay with it. And not that they have to be okay with it, but that they have to deal with it.
Amazing. As
Airfay will also add, though, in that moment, kind of, noticing these things too. But Tal, no, you never have to be the one if you don't want.
I think you see Tal take like a deep breath and then look back up, and say, I will never let anyone hurt any of you.
Also, just for future reference, Airfay clocked that little thing that Waffle said about Ark being very, very adamant about this, and we're going to talk later.
Just calling it out.
Airfay will remember this.
I have to say it out louder. I won't remember. Airfay will remember this.
Yes.
She clocked
So
that.
we need chat. You heard it. Everybody, just swing back around whenever. Remind us.
Come back in 2 weeks.
You have a conversation to have.
Look, I'm heading for Japan soon. I'm going to forget. Someone else.
Oh no, it's okay. It's like
so
we
jealous.
have a thing. Hideaki, when Tal says that, I thought we weren't making promises we can't keep.
Erife in her mind's like, not that time.
The
not out
kind of
loud.
the small smile that Tal had on their face drops. Then they
There's a
nod
thing
a
about-
little bit.
But I believe that you're going to do your absolute best to keep that promise. And I vow to do the same.
We can make the promise of doing our best to make sure that never happens. Because that will happen.
I will
He
not
puts a hand
attack.
out.
I will not attack unless Hal tells me to.
Don't do that.
I think that's a little too much pressure.
He just looks at Tal for a second. He's internally proving a point.
No. You're very smart. I think you can figure it out. But also, if you hadn't started the fight, you would not have been hurt.
No, they would have
In
just
this
attacked us from
fight.
behind. Later.
That's an assumption.
Art's gonna continue to triple down on the arguments, and he's gonna kind of take a step to Hideaki and say, "And you've been in large-scale battles or training in cavern systems?"
There's a first time for everything, R2.
Experience goes a long way.
Understanding motive does too. And now he's like curt as fuck now because he did not like that at all.
Tensions. Complicated at best in this current moment. And you can continue to retort if need be. But where and in what direction do you begin to head?
I think this conversation needs to end first before we head in a direction. I feel
I think
like
that's
there might be
super-
some like actual fighting happening soon.
We're waiting for you guys.
I'm so sorry.
I think to be fair,
You're
there,
good.
though, I think to be fair there, though, Ark, sensing Hideaki get curt a little, will take a step kind of in front of the whole group and say, "Which direction shall I lead everybody in?"
I love him so much. Should we head south? Well, no, we know where the bees are. Should we go the opposite way?
I think south is the only way that there is to go.
No, there's
There's-
east. There's a lot east.
Yeah, east.
Well, technically,
Where
also
are
south,
we at
but,
this
like,
point?
We're in the.
So you are all
Yeah.
back in the room. Yeah. So you had originally gone down this right, this
Right.
left middle path, and then Ark has seen what he thinks is the outpouring of this tunnel further to the right.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Yeah.
Every time.
Ark, which direction do you think we need to go? You seem to have a lot more experience in places like this.
And I'll just really look at Hideaki, like really, really hard.
I think we need to use all of our strengths to their best advantage.
Ark will kind of calm down for a second and look and say, "To be honest, I don't think we should move yet. If we're not all on the same page, somebody will die." if I kill something else, will we be having another one of these conversations?
Not from me.
No.
He looks at Erva.
I'm Sweden. I don't know what you all are looking at me for.
You can't be Sweden because I'm already Sweden!
I can disagree with anyone.
To Ark's direct question of will we be having, well, will you basically be bringing up another conversation of this if he were to kill?
In regards to
Again.
killing something, no.
Okay.
Arafe, I will say at this point, you can tell Arafe is also getting a little irritated at this point. Because in her mind, both sides are being ridiculously stubborn. In her
What?
mind, but
Mhm.
she's not
Us?
The
think
three
this
of
party-
us.
Yeah.
But
In
I mean,
this
Three
environment,
high,
I know.
the
This
three
group?
high intelligent people trying to have a discussion.
what?
What?
The empathetic person sitting here going, "Motherfuckers, would you just?" But
Just
I will
hug
say-
it out, God.
But I will say,
I tried to put my hand in the middle. I'm just saying.
Let's start talking.
so I will say that that irritation does come across in that not from me,
Sure.
On the upward deflection, I love that.
and that's
Okay.
kind of that's kind of the first time she has even indicated irritation since you have known her.
Yeah.
since you yelled at that at the what was the name of the big the one that you yelled at in the treehouse.
Oh yeah, no, that was anger. That's different.
Touche.
Okay. Ark will. Honestly, I don't even know if he clocks the irritation or not because he's pretty bad.
That's fair.
He's pretty bad
That's
at
fair.
reading those emotions, but he will
It's cool.
give a nod because the fact of the matter is, no, we won't. And he will say, I believe we should go east. The bees to the south have
Right.
shown that they have no interest in bothering us. We can clear them out later.
I think that's fair.
And then, I'm sorry, sir. Can everybody make me a perception check? Because Art's gonna mark something
yeah, we
under his
can.
breath as he walks away.
Let's go.
I
Passive
have-
aggressiveness. Let's go.
I have, as a reminder, very good ears.
And I will challenge
If you want to
this.
give me,
I don't think it's passive aggressiveness, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either.
I don't
The,
think
the
Art
act,
has
the act
passive
typically
aggressive
is.
bone
I don't
in
know
his
if
body.
Sorry,
can
Maria.
can I add my circumstance bonus to this perception check because it is auditory?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Bless you.
Yeah, I can't say no to that.
Dirty 20.
Natural 20 for 26.
Jesus.
I think all of y'all here, then we have a dirty 20, 24, and 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of begins to walk away. Probably doesn't get further than Hideaki, so like he's within 15 feet of all of you, and thinks he's like whispering it, but he has a problem whispering, much as I do in real life. And so it comes out like his vocal cords are like actually vibrating and stuff, and he just says, like, they should at least trust my intention. And he'll keep walking.
Start walking down. Opening up your book to, I'm assuming, for some light.
Yep.
You all begin to head down this tunnel. For my ease, because tunnels are funky here, I'm going to bring you
Not
down.
so secret.
to this
Doggo's right
winding-
behind. Sorry.
Oh, yes. I'm not putting anything out for Doggo,
That's
but
fine.
like, yeah.
That's
Okay, I
for
feel like
that's
Doggo's
fine.
not a combatant technically.
Yeah, I'm gonna move camera
It
chicken
can
here
be,
for a hot
but-
second, for my GM powers. And as you come down here, there are basically, you haven't quite seen into here before.
Blank circles.
But you feel like you should have potentially been able to like see whatever's going on here from your angle, and so you're 90% sure that this wasn't there before.
Sure. Can I, like, what does it look like?
I'm sorry, I'm still gonna
sorry.
distract. So as you sort of wind through here, and again, tight spaces, so I want to give you a moment because this is basically the amount of space. I will say that we could probably move Camera Chicken, so if you want to filter out a little bit more, we can, and I'll put Camera Chicken here, and you guys can, like, come around, so there's at least some sight. Nope, don't move yourself. And yeah, that's fine. Who needs walls? So, also, Tal, do you bring your lights back up?
Not yet.
There is the light from Ark's book, I believe, unless you tell me
Yeah.
otherwise.
Then I will not do so yet.
The book is up.
So coming into this space, you see, first of all, clearly behind you, kind of to your right, the space that you were in prior, ahead of that secret door. Then there's this sort of like amorphous cavern that branches into multitudes of little exits and entrances and pathways. One to the north, one down right. It's honestly a little confusing to be able to really see where each of these go. But there in front of you are these little, maybe not so little. It's shimmery at first as the light hits it, and it takes you a second before you recognize it as like the outer shine of a centipede. Except these don't look like live centipedes. It's like the centipede carcass? It's the outside of a centipede. There's 3 of them, and they lay on the floor at the edge of this room. And each one appears to be like curled around something, like a string, or it looks like a kitten curled around a ball of yarn, like if you would imagine that.
Ew.
But they're not a kitten around a ball of yarn, but rather some centipede carcasses. And as you walk into this room to discover something that perhaps wasn't there before you left, and as you walk down this hallway, Nim muses to you, Tal. Well, if you're not a big fan of making those decisions, maybe little sister can teach you how to read the strings, and then you'll know what's gonna happen. And that's where we'll end tonight.
What the fuck?
Hit him with a bomb.
Oh.